And we should be live. Just check the channel. Yep, there we are. Hello, one.
Hello.
Yeah, we'll just sit the 5 and let people turn up.
Yep.
So how's your day been, one?
It has been fantastic. I have not been at work. How about you?
Oh, lovely. Just what you want, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, mine's been good too. We went out and done a bit while it was sunny. So how's your day?
Hold on. I'm going to put your channel link in my chat.
Oh, yeah, better drop the link around there. Oops, I forgot about that. Sorry, people. Share the link here and there. Our worst enemies, one for sharing our links. No mind, we've got some good subscribers that do share our work around. Some good people come to our stream. Hello, the Aurus. Welcome to the APM Live. Any questions? Feel free to ask them in the chat. We normally do a little questions and answers before we start doing anything anyway, just to see where people want us to actually go. So hello to the chatters.
Yep. Hello to the chatters. We'll be chatting live in FPV's stream. I left the link. And pinned it. Okay.
I'd never title the video now when we go live and just leave it as it is, because then people don't know what we're going to present, do they?
No.
No surprises that way. I'll reword it after the stream. Aha, Jax. How we doing, matey? Jax remembered this week. She's missed the last two because she forgot. Or fell asleep or something.
Well, it's still a new thing. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you catch up when you're bored through the week and just watch the live stream or skip through it to the parts that interest you, really, can't you?
Yeah. Yep.
Or something new or interesting in there. Your revelations or decodes. Ah, Monique. Yeah, you were on the one before, Jax. I think it was the one before. You can jump on tonight if you want. Do you want to jump on the panel, Jax? Bit tired. Yeah, no worries. Hold on a sec. Yeah, no worries with that, Jax. Wait in a minute. Yeah, well, you know where we're at. Just give us a shout and I'll send you the link. Oops. stuff.
Zoom tight.
Hmm?
It's like a zoom tight. Did you sneeze?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't mute when Sam was reaching for the mute button. Oops. What were those
Someone
ones?
in my chat said you banned them from your stream.
When they were coming up with what they were coming out with, people don't come to my stream to see what they were coming out with if it's the person I'm thinking of.
Somebody named Martin.
Who?
Martin?
Don't remember that name, but unless that's a different account.
Well, it's hard to say.
Why did I ban him? If I ban someone, I usually tell them in the stream.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say.
I ban lots of people. You know, people.
Here we go.
People come to this stream to learn about the Creator's glory and how it works. So we don't need drama and silliness taking place.
Where'd he go? He just binged in and I admitted him.
What? Who?
Jimbo.
He came in. I hadn't seen him.
I just did. I admitted him.
Sure, it was Jimbo.
Yeah, it was his avatar. Mm-hmm.
Must be having problems.
Possibly. Hope he comes back.
I'll put some video in the background. I never heard anything, but then again, you probably hear it at your end, that.
Well, did you let everybody know that tonight, for the most part, we're going to let them lead?
Nope, not yet, but you just did. Yeah, well, I kind of mentioned it before, you know, see where they want us to go. Questions and answers, see what directions they want us to take them in. And, you know, I've told the people over the last few days, they were asking questions. I said, we'll keep the questions for the live so that everyone gets the response in the live stream. You know, then it's saved, because in a live stream chat on my stream, them streams get deleted, so all the messages get deleted. I don't keep the live streams when I reset them, because otherwise my channel would be full of the same live streams. So
Right.
I delete them and then start them again. Only because it doesn't show us live as after 24 hours. That's why I'm having to do that. You know, people don't realize I'm actually streaming something live, so I have to keep resetting it. But yeah, you know, questions are best asked on our live stream nights like this. Then the answer's recorded into the stream and people can hear it from that question. So if anyone asks questions for the week now, I tell them to keep them till Sunday night so we can answer them live, and it gets recorded and everyone gets to hear it. Well, everyone that watches the video anyway. Active Halo making wins, Monique said. Yeah. You notice it more and more, don't you? I'm just going to screen share tab. So we've got some background visuals.
Sorry, I'm sharing it right now.
Huh?
I'm sharing it on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. So this is what it's all about, people. Technology, electromagnetism, the glory. This is the glory. This is what they're trying to hide from you. The chem planes. These were seen in history, especially like 400 years ago, and probably every 100 or 400 year. Changes in the mechanism. We start seeing parts of the construct operating in the visible spectrum. This is what we're seeing with these halos and rainbows and other things. all our sciences and everything are derived from how this operates. Isn't nature cool? You know, Jax and Monique, when you study it with APM eyes now and realize what's taken place and how you can see this technology working when it's manipulating the ether and doing what it does. Isn't it amazing to watch and witness? I mean, that question's to everyone because I find it totally amazing. You can see every time we go outside now, we see it. We see how nature really works. Even the clouds are a giveaway, aren't they? We've always been looking at effects without understanding the causes, but now we understand the causes. And it makes it so much more special, doesn't it?
Yes.
We live on something very special that has a creator. All these people that are looking for the creator. Here's your proof, people. Here's their glory. I think the ones that's going to struggle with this most is the one that's being religiously indoctrinated. I don't say that in a negative way. I mean, the way they've been brought up and basically brainwashed into repeating things out of a book. That's all we've ever been doing, repeating what they've been telling us to repeat. We've actually proven any of it. 6 years ago, I didn't believe in a creator. 5 years ago, I couldn't stop seeing it. You can't deny it once you see it. Good evening, Chris. Hey, panel's open, Chris, if you want to jump in, mate. We're having a random chat night and see where people in the chat want us to go. And we'll have a few bits and pieces we want to show them as well. Not a lot this week because my machine's being tied up compiling and it's still doing it. Although, people don't realize how long it takes to compile videos of the caliber we lump together. Hours and hours worth of videos in 4K. It does eat your machine, your computer up. It ties it up for days. Yeah, I'll drop the link in the back chat. If anyone out the back chat wants to jump in, you're more than welcome. Where we are. There you go. Oh no. I was just posting the watch page by accident there. Hold on. Wrong link.
Okay.
You have to watch for people joining one. I'm just putting in there.
Yeah, no worries. I'll hear the ding dong.
Yeah. Oops, that video finished, has it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll just put some background vids on for now until we get down into where we're heading. Yeah, no worries, Chris. Jump in anytime, mate. You're more than welcome. And don't forget that video. I know you're busy, so don't worry about it. Things can wait. Real life does take priority. 2 for the price of 1. Yeah, the way I'm having to stream it. It's I've got 2 different computers connected to this, so I can stream it and do it how it frees this computer up that I'm on now.
All right, here goes. Now, where did Jax go?
Hello, Rock. Are they not joining?
I don't know. I hit admit for both of them.
There's Jax. Yeah, so that's working.
Okay.
Hello, Jax. There's no audio, Jax, if you can hear me.
Can you hear me?
I can now,
Yep.
yeah. Right. Yep.
Yeah. I was just turning the audio off the YouTube one.
Your camera looks like it's enabled, so you might as well stop that because you've got tape over it anyway, and free up some bandwidth for yourself. Yeah, you're coming through okay here. Good to hear again, anyway.
Hang on, let me put. There I am.
There you go.
There you are.
Why is there two of you, FPV?
The way I'm having to stream it, because the first time I tried it, like they said, every time I tried to change a window, the OBS was following me, and you know, I needed to lock onto the panel window.
Yeah,
and it was following me. So I'm having to use two computers to do it this way, just so it frees up the one I'm on now. You know, don't get that problem of OBS trying to follow all the windows I'm in. Yeah, it's
I'm going to move Meet and YouTube together because sometimes I go from one window to the other and can't find the other one again.
Hello, Rob.
Yeah, I was going to go out today with the family. Is my audio a bit loud? Because sometimes it's a bit loud.
Yeah,
I get told off for it.
Just don't shout.
Yeah, I'll talk in hushed tones. We were going to go to this model National Trust owned village in Wiltshire, which they've made into this picture perfect idea of how they think an English village should look, you know? And it's used for locations like Pride and Prejudice and Harry Potter and British dramas. But it costs £15 to get in the bloody abbey.
Wow, extortion.
15 quid. It didn't stop me doing a load of research before I went.
Well, yeah, it's worth it now because you're getting a better.
Because I realised, I thought, what about Downton Abbey? So I looked at the house and I thought, well, that's a house, but so is this one at Laycock. And then when you look at the history, it was a nunnery, and then they just built on and turned it into a house. So part of it is the nunnery. So it's really sort of quite interesting. And even my daughter, because I'm into cloisters at the moment, weird thing. You can tell I'm old. When you start getting into things like cloisters and researching monasteries, you know, you're getting old.
I was just gonna ask that, you know, is like a nunnery like the female version of a monastery? Well, you know, what is it?
Nunneries and monasteries and abbeys preceded cathedrals.
Well, I suppose the question is, Jax, was it really used by just women, or is that something more modern that's been added?
Well, you see, I'm so suspicious of all history now.
Yeah,
I think so much of it is just completely made up and filled in with all this social, like, itty-bitty stuff that people like. Like, I just don't trust any of the Henry VIII stuff. I think this whole dissolution of the monasteries thing is a whole made-up load of rubbish, because dissolution actually means completely wrecking the sort of thing that happens in a tempest. So yeah, I think I think there was an event and it destroyed a lot of the abbeys, and a few survived, and they turned them into cathedrals. They just sort of took them over. I think the timeline's all completely arse about face.
Well, I'll tell you what I think about what took place there this is when kings and queens were invented, and they had to go around destroying everything that was what you would call the normal standard and order of what you understood about this world. You know, like your monasteries weren't places of worship as such. I think it was more like a place you could work and live off the land, and probably in
they were like
it makes you wonder, Jack. Makes me wonder, were they
towns.
technologically advanced as well? Because when you look at the sacred geometry on the buildings, it's exactly the same as they're using today. It doesn't matter what religion's using it; they're all using the same geometry.
They were masters of water technology as well. They learned how to irrigate the land, and they just knew it all. They were working
Well,
within balance and harmony, I think.
there's the key right there. You know, water is ether. So if they're masters of the water, it tells you they understood. You can, you know, generate electricity from the ether. Which makes sense. You know, as far as we're concerned, that's what we were being taught everywhere.
Yeah,
We can see it, can't we?
yeah.
Hey,
And
Jimbo.
Hey,
it
Jimbo.
made me think about what you were saying to me the other day, because one conscience, I found a local spring. There's a little stream that runs. They've saved a bit of countryside down here, and it's really, really, you can really feel that it's quite ancient. They've even saved a bit of hedgerow, ancient hedgerow, and there's a really quaint stream with a bridge, but there's a bubbling bit where it's coming up. So I found the spring that it's come from, and FPV was saying it's probably but where a node is. And then I thought, well, all these grand places that had all these fountains, maybe those fountains, that's where they're over.
Yeah,
Like
there has
places
to
like
be.
Fontainebleau and Versailles and places like that, because Versailles is ridiculous, isn't it?
Well, when you look at parks, you know, it makes sense why they're in near the city centre and places like that, where you would put them there, because, you know, they're all node location markers. You'll
And the
find
name,
a
even,
statue in the middle of a park, and it's basically a representation of an obelisk.
Yeah, Battersea Park has got quite spectacular fountain going on there.
Yeah, so, you know,
Yeah,
that's
and
Eve's induction.
the very word park. I mean, what
It's
do you do? You park stuff up in parks.
as I showed in the Glastonbury Tor decode, you know, the Eve's halo being the number 3 node on the halo would be
Yeah,
the wells were at either side of that node, and both of them were rising, but both producing different types of water with different
yes,
chemicals, compounds within them, and they're not that far apart. So, you know,
yeah,
what could possibly cause that sudden difference in water? Well, it's
yeah.
the positive and negative each side of that node. Remember, these alternate, so it's always going to alternate. It's alternating the flow and the current. So that water is always going to be. It's you know, it relates to the octaves is where it's coming from. It's the octaves that node's at that's creating that effect.
It's absolutely fascinates me. I don't really stop thinking about it these days, especially with the way the sky's been here. And at the moment, the sun in the real sky, if you look at your astrology charts, it tells you the sun is somewhere else at the moment. It says it's in Cancer, but it's not. It's still in Leo. When you look at the real sky, and the new moon is right in front of it. So the positive and the negatives, and the sky has just been crazy here. I don't know what's going on around here, but every day I get like a sky show.
Yeah, and
I
the
really do.
good thing is you're understanding now what you're seeing, aren't you? You can see
Well, I'm between 3 ley lines as well, three important ones that go
you
from
know,
Glastonbury to Averbury to Stonehenge, and right
you've
in the
got
middle of this triangle.
you've got causes you can now relate to those effects. That's the beauty of it now, isn't it? You know, we've got things we can look at and study and analyze and prove to ourselves.
Yeah, I see the halos and I see the cones, and when they start to move away from their source, they become winged. And that's when people think they're chemtrails, but they're just, you get these, you can actually see the cones coming up, and then as they go off with the wind and go off on their course, they become these huge wings. And that's where you get your angels.
Yeah, I think what's going on there as well, you know, with that spread, how it takes place. When you look at One Conscience's layers video, that them clouds are going up into different layers, and, you know, they're causing different effects in them
All the
layers.
layers.
And they're
All the
also,
different
you know,
layers.
what you'll
Yeah.
notice in them layers above that one is the winds and the clouds are going a completely different direction.
They're all go. And when we were in the car today coming back, Holly noticed, my daughter noticed, these birds, and they were obviously in some sort of thermal, this flock of birds, and some were flying backwards. They were all caught in this. You could see them in this wind tow. She went, "Look at those birds, Mum." And we could see them circling around, and some of the birds were actually moving backwards within it. I said, "Oh, they're in some sort of wind funnel. They found a thermal."
Yeah.
She went, "Yeah, you're right. Look at that.
A spiral.
So clear."
They found a
So that's the
spiral, didn't they?
landscape around here is just full of all this stuff going on.
Mark Atwood mentioned that, when he's a glider pilot, and he was saying, they go on thermals, and it made him think, now
Loads of
thermals.
gliders around here.
Yeah.
Loads of gliders,
So-
loads of those people that jump off with those what are they called? Paragliders.
Paragliders,
Yeah, and also the big gliders as well.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah,
that's one of the
makes sense.
reasons the gulls like it here, and they go really high as well here, the birds.
You have to watch
Really?
some of the birds, and the high soaring birds. I'll show you where the halo is and the coil.
Yeah.
'Cause they're soaring on the spiral of this technology. They're literally on the breath of angels.
Well, it's over my head.
They're everywhere.
I'm
Aren't
probably
they?
looking for a rainbow, and I'm in the middle of it.
Well, it's like last week's decode, Jax. That thing, your avatar. The circumvental arc.
Yeah, I just found it. I didn't realize you put that video. That was from last week, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's the local
So
rainbow
I've
being.
yet to watch that. So I've got to
Yeah.
watch. I watched it. I must have missed that bit. I watched it.
Yeah, I think there's only a short clip that I made of it, but
Yeah.
it's in there somewhere.
Yeah, I'll find it.
But it was just
I'll
an
find
update.
it.
It's just an update on the rainbow information, really.
Yeah, it was nice that day. It's like my trademark, that rainbow, because before I associated it with the sun, before I knew it was connected to the sun, I just thought it was there for me.
Yeah, I know. I remember in your videos, you were always looking up. And
Yeah,
seeing it.
I thought it was some magical sign.
That's
But
above you.
I have seen stationary cloud formations with a halo ring, and I think that's an angel. That's a proper angel I'm seeing.
Yeah, that'll be the
Yeah, because I
demiurge.
filmed one and called it the Rainbow and the Dove, and it wasn't over the sun. It just formed, and you can actually see halos within it, rings within it, and it almost looks as if there's sigils in it as well. It's the strangest thing to see. So
It is,
yeah, I
isn't
think
it?
I was seeing a projection.
You notice that with clouds, you see a lot of sacred geometries changing, morphing in and out of view in clouds. You think, was that?
You
did I
see
really just
sacred
think that?
geometry. You see all that symbology and the patterns that
Dinosaurs,
all the
faces.
patterns. It's all there.
It is, yeah. Jimbo says even dinosaurs and things are in there.
And faces.
Yeah, everything you can imagine, you see in clouds, and yeah,
Anyway.
Our imagination ain't much different to what's taking place in the sky, is it?
Yeah, well, I think there's a bit of a connection, a consciousness connection. I do.
Sense. It would make sense. Definitely.
Hi,
more
James. Sorry.
Hello.
Hey, I'm yapping away. I seldom talk these days, just to cats. So it's nice to chat.
Well, it's good to be on, and it's good to meet you.
Mm.
How are you, Jimbo? What you been busy with?
Oh, it's Jimbo.
Jimbo,
Oh my
yeah.
God, Jimbo. I thought, who's James Halliwell? Oh, hi. I'm so sorry. Oh, I defer. Oh, shut up now.
It's
It's
easy to
Jimbo.
remember. I have the same name as the guy who wrote the Three Little Pigs.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and he wrote There's Nothing as Lovely as a Tree, the poem. I think he wrote both those, so it's pretty famous. Famous name.
Ah.
From way back.
He always learns you something new, Jimbo, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking too, where you see your artesian coming out of the ground there, it's pulsating. I'm sure that there are intervals of more flow, less flow, more flow, less flow. Pulsation.
Yeah.
Everything pulsates in this world.
Alternating.
Yeah.
It's the alternating current that's given us that breath, the breathing motion, that living, breathing sensation.
I believe, as water travels downhill, it loses heat energy, but also, radiomagnetic energies.
Yeah, that would make sense. It's getting further away from the demiurge and the conduction.
Yeah, and water has such amazing properties in its different states and stuff there. It's just almost beyond description, Whole university libraries are full of books just on water, In chemistry, it's either your best friend or your worst enemy, Most organic is driving off of water, a molecule of water.
We're just so uneducated. It's just scary.
Yeah.
Things that we should be taught about, we're just not taught about. To be taught about the elements and
Yeah,
unless
like
you take science at school, you know, which was a boys' subject when I was at school back in my day.
boiling alcohol in an acid, you know, you get esters and perfumes and stuff. But people
Yeah.
aren't taught good chemistry. They're taught complicated stuff that they'll never use. And you know, what's practical is, you know, just way off in the yonder, you know. If people were taught properly, almost everyone would know some electronics, a good bit more chemistry, and some more physics. You know that, you know, logically water finds level. You know, you wouldn't argue that water bends around a ball or something. You know, it's just the way people are indoctrinated or educated. You know, it's not too good.
Your channel is set to wait 20 minutes after subscribing to be able to comment.
Whose one?
Yours.
Does it? Oh yeah,
Oh
yeah,
Mellow
I remember
wait
setting
20
that because
minutes. Yeah.
I set that because I was getting spammers and things coming in.
What was the bright thing in the middle?
But a Mellow Earth was already subscribed to me, so he shouldn't be getting
It
that
was an
message.
accident.
Oh, FPV put that in there, Jimbo.
Oh, I see. I got you.
What's that?
They had accidentally unsubscribed and then had to wait.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure it's frustrating if that happens, or if YouTube unsubscribes you to have to wait so long to
It was
chat.
I made it that way to cut down on people and trolls that just come in spamming stuff. You're gonna come here and spam, you're gonna have to wait 20 minutes. So sorry about that, but it stopped spamming, it puts spammers off coming here.
And then you can put slow mode too.
Yeah, I think it's on slow mode now anyway. Chat's not going that fast.
Nice fixed rainbow.
No, I don't think it'll discourage newcomers. I'm sure they can wait 20 minutes. I mean, they can still see it. The only thing they can't do is interact in the chat. So I think this content's worth 20 minutes, worth waiting 20 minutes for, isn't it? If you're going to comment on this content, I'm sure you can wait 20 minutes. At least we see if they're genuine then. Or see if they're genuine.
That's a few kilometers from end to end.
Yeah. Lives there permanently.
Mm-hmm. Like in Montreal, I could look out the same window from the apartment every time there was, you know, a chance there'd be a rainbow, same damn place.
Yeah. You see it more and more, don't you? You actually notice it. You know, I go out and I look on hills and I can see them on the hills and I think, that's in the same place it was yesterday.
It's something you never think of, you know?
Yeah. It is, you know, that's how they got us. We didn't question things or didn't realize, hey, wait a minute, that's the same rainbow, but from a different angle. That's what's really taking place. You know, you've looked at the same rainbow for the last 10 years, well, realizing it's the same one, you think it's a different one, or you don't even question it. Question everything.
Yeah, there was always a rainbow in the same place in London, exactly the same place, and I could never see half of it. I could only get a bit of it, like quite a bit of it, but not all of it, and it was always in the same place. And when I cat sat for my friend who lived 2 doors down, I got a really, really sort of good close angle of it. It was amazing how much closer I was to it just being 2 doors down, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it couldn't have been very far away.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed when
And of course, Lucy got
when
a
you're
few
looking up at them.
rainbows in London.
Yeah, the one that Lucy got when she went past that tree, and she was like, start to like lean back and look up at it. I mean, she was really close to it there, wasn't she? You could see her, you know, she was on to like look up at it. That was quite close, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing well. It was a
Well,
good
there's a
video,
lot
that.
of big buildings in London that can be markers. Half of
Yeah.
London.
It shows you you're nearby, you know, you're right near it somewhere when you're looking up at it at that angle.
That's a close one, that one.
Yes, this is live, Jay. Yeah, you know, I bet people drive through rainbows more than they realize. In fact, we're doing it daily. We're just not seeing it. Everyone's driving through rainbows daily without realizing it, because all the rainbows is part of the electromagnetic sphere shown in the visible spectrum. It's a full sphere where you're seeing the light refracting and reflecting off this half
This
sphere.
is like this is Lucy's.
Yeah, this is it here. Look, she's having to look up at it. That's quite close. Look at the angle she's having to look up at it. That's quite close to where she was.
Yeah, that's over Clapham Common.
Great captures. You know, when you look at them like that, yes, you're very close to that angel's location.
Yeah, that's over Clapham Common, and there's a big
And
old,
there's another good thing you could
big
do,
old
Jax.
church up there.
Once you figure out where the edges are, right, you can watch it
Yeah.
raining on the inside of that sphere, and on the outside it'll be dry. Only that sphere is getting rain. How cool is that? That's why you see an end to rain when you're walking down a street, and you'll see it raining one side of the road and it's sunny on the other, and you think, why does it end there? Because it's within that one of that angel sphere. Doesn't that make sense now why rain's got an edge to it?
When we were driving back the other day, I really saw the local weather, especially coming into Westbury, because it had been raining in Westbury all day and it hadn't been raining anywhere else. So we had something going on here.
This is how you get into predicting your own local weather, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially near lakes, sometimes you'll have the rain that comes just to a certain point, and then there's no more after that. And it can be 30 miles in, like on the Atlantic there. They call it a coastal, but it comes in and it's blocked by something, you know.
Yeah, it just ends suddenly, doesn't it?
Yep. And it just rains. Like at Walterboro in South Carolina, it'll rain on the east side of I-95, but not a drop on the west side.
Yeah.
Every day around supper time.
Guaranteed.
And heavy. Yeah. Heavy. Thunder, lightning, and it just rolls by, lets go, and it's gone.
Deanne Foster said her daughter sent her a double rainbow photo she took somewhere in North Florida in May. Yeah, if she can find where the location was, we can give it some GPS coordinates and add it to the APM database. Deanne. Is it Deanne? How's that how you pronounce that? Deanne?
Diane, yeah. There's some really nice shots on Google of the Angel Wings, Florida, where, wow, the sun, it looks like it's got a pair of angel wings attached to it.
Oh, I've seen that. Somebody shared it on Facebook today. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
I think one of our Sunday Low Focus videos has got that in, and it looks like flames. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
You know, it looks like a cross shape, an angel shape there. Really cool, that.
Well,
from my chat, Mark Collard said he gets a rainbow behind his house every time it rains after 2 p.m. That it looks fluorescent, luminescent, and magical.
That's their idea what it is now.
The five rivers meet in the Bay of Chaleur. There's often like lighting effects that look like, you know, the clouds are on fire and stuff, or like there's a boat here on the water. Pretty amazing. But I think it has to do with nighttime rainbows as opposed to daytime, you know.
Deanne said daughter doesn't remember the exact location. That's okay. At least it gives you something to look forward to Deanne. You know, you can start recording these yourself now and mapping them. Start recording your local ones. This is what we want everyone to do and help you if they can. Just map your local rainbows and, you know, showing you configurations to look for now, where you see a smaller one and bigger ones and how they progress out the way. That's what we're looking for, and you will see it yourself. Hello, Mark. The wing makers. No, I haven't heard of that one. Has anyone heard of the wind makers that J Flo's mentioned?
No, I haven't. No.
The wing makers. I've not heard that term before, no. Do explain, Jay. I haven't heard of the wing makers. Even the chatters give you some good information, don't they? You know, everyone coming here is interacting and passing on information. This is good information that we get from people that come in our stream. You know, they come and report what they're seeing. That's what we want, because you will see what we're seeing. Same spot every day, Mark said. Yep, it lives there. Yeah, he does, doesn't
Yeah,
he, Chris?
I watch Mr. MB33. I watch his stuff. I mean, he's a good bit of a globy, but he has some great pictures sent in.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
Really
He
good.
does some fantastic
Yeah.
content from people.
Yeah, he's somebody I watch.
But you know,
I've
they'll
watched him for years now.
we are getting bits and pieces like that sent to us now as well. So, and we'll give it a good explanation. I don't know what if does Mr. MB explain any of these, or do you just show them and ask you what you do?
No, not really. He says, "What do you think it is?"
Yeah.
Pen comments, and
Mm-hmm.
strange photo here, and he slows them down sometimes. But your sky phenomenon. But yeah, some
Well, that's good then,
odd
because
stuff.
he's not saying he knows what they are. He's asking you what they are. That's
Yeah,
what
he
people should be
just
doing,
shows
isn't
people.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it this art? Because I googled it and it's a lot of crazy looking artwork.
Or Mr. MB33.
No, Wingmaker.
Oh,
Yeah.
So-
I was gonna say, maybe it's a sideline.
Sorry, I was still stuck on that one.
Yeah, level. He's it pushes the alien
Well,
thing.
if he
It
believes in
looks
a
like a
globe,
UFO and cloud ships and
if he
what
believes
looks
in
like
a
a huge
globe, then
ship
that
in the
does come with
sky.
UFOs,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
You gotta pick through it, but
Yeah. Well, the good thing is they're going to get better explanations for it in flat Earth now, aren't they?
yeah, level. A lot of them are globers, but I think some of them are flat Earth globers who just say they're globers to keep their channel up.
Yeah, there's that as well. Some of them are a bit smarter than you think, there's a good reason they won't, go into it or entertain it, because it will affect things.
To get the channel taken down, it causes huge arguments in the chat, and you lose half your subs. So yeah, sometimes I think people just think, "Oh, keep their business head on and tell a little big white lie."
It's not going to go away anytime soon, is it?
They say he's a closet flat earther.
Yeah, Michael Tallinger had to come out of the closet. He says he can't really do his job unless he, recognizes flat Earth and can talk about it and stuff.
Yeah.
Hats off to him.
Well, he did apply to be the Prime Minister, did he not, or some political figure for South Africa? And it was only, I think it was only because of flat Earth belief that it upset a lot of people.
Yeah, he did the Ubuntu project there, kind of a social money and other type of project there.
People have told him to look into our research. I'm not sure if he ever has or not. It looks like he keeps quiet about this kind of thing on his channel.
Well, he's loud about giants, and that's his main forte, I guess. And
yeah,
the ancient archaeology.
Well, it's a start, isn't it? I'm not going to hold that against him.
Yeah,
a lot of these people haven't done the research to be in the position where they can,
Yeah, even Roger,
Roger,
who does Mud Fossil, he's eased off on his, flat earthers are demons and all that stuff, and he's,
Well, you're going to have to.
He looks a lot of views for that, because it just pissed us all off in the end, because I put up with it for ages. I just put up with it, but he can get so vehement and mean, and yet he shows, I mean, I have that dragon in North Africa is incredible.
Yes.
So did it just live here by itself with a couple of mates?
No, I found in 2011 a 1,000-foot long shrimp. So, these giants, I mean, the scale is just mind-boggling, he's not into that big a giant yet, And those
It banned me, Jim, for asking what did these on a globe. It was it was a legitimate question as far as I was concerned. If you're going to claim there's a dragon 1,500-mile long lying on the
It
landscape,
looks like it.
what
Hey,
could
it
it
looks like
possibly
it.
be eating to get to that size in this world?
Oh, a big fish.
On a globe. On a
Yeah.
globe, what could it possibly eat to get to that size? It's
Yeah, there's a disconnect.
I wasn't being disrespectful, if he ever listens and watches, I wasn't being disrespectful, Roger. But if you're going to claim that, you have to consider
Yeah.
everything associated. What did it live
Well,
on and eat to get to that
there
size?
might have been seahorses that were 3,000 miles tall, living in an
Well,
ocean.
that this kind of information puts the globe into question, doesn't it? How can things this big exist on a
course.
small globe?
Look,
There's their dilemma.
the guardian
there
of
were
Badlands, 5
3
miles
shrimp.
tall. He could walk across Canada 2 or 3 times a day, got a 2.5 mile, 3 mile stride,
Yeah.
in 10 miles a second or so.
Anyone that's working on that topic would have to consider a massive world to accommodate these. Well, and
Yeah.
according to mainstream, our globe is not a massive world. Well, we don't have a globe. We don't believe in a globe. We debunked the globe.
Well, I think we've been restricted to a certain area of land masses there and stuff.
Yeah, where it can. Where they can
Yeah,
easily,
we've been allotted a certain amount of space.
yeah,
For our own safety,
Well, there's that to consider, isn't there, Jim?
Yeah.
When you think of the reset, right? When all this technology shuts down, this world is going to be open to anything that's outside of this grid that can
They're all going to come in.
They can just
Well,
wander in.
there'll be angels fighting demons in the sky with huge swords and stuff like they saw in the 1600s,
Well, that's just a depiction of what we decoded in the Glastonbury Tour, isn't it? The angel, the angel with the sword is the Taurus field. Adam and
Maybe
Eve,
those dog-headed people coming from out there.
Yeah.
I remember you said, Jimbo, that it was an American tribe. They said they had giants used to attack them from the west.
The Hopi Indians and stuff.
Yes, so what is west of us?
They cannibalize west and north because, again, when they were fleeing, they seemed to flee towards North America and then towards, what is BC and northern Canada. But like I say, as far as giants go, maybe in the 1500s, a huge giant fell and made California. It was an island before that event, So this world was shaped and reshaped a few times,
Yeah.
Part of the resets.
Like Marx says in the chat, flat earth is endless. The globe comes with restrictions that you can't even go near to prove there is a beyond, but we can see there's a beyond.
Okay,
that's
so
why they've hit it. Go ahead,
over in my chat, sorry to interrupt, but I've got 2 different people bringing up Archaics channel.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to know if you have ever seen or heard the 138-year reset, and it would be interesting to see a live show.
Why does everyone want me to interact with this archaic guy? We don't interview people. That's not what we do here.
And
we're working on a map and model and proving it. This is the reality of our world. We're proving there's a creator and we're showing you their glory. We haven't really got time to mess around in this. We're not here just for this community. We're here for the world. This is world-changing information. It needs to be shared everywhere. That's the problem with this community we find ourselves in. They're not sharing it, or they're trying to steal it and do other things with it, monetize it. We don't need this kind of crap going on. Time is running out, people. The people need to be made aware of what's taking place in this world. Very serious, this. It's not a lot of people think it's just flat and that's the end of it. No, it's not just flat or level and stationary, however you want to word it. How it works is the most important thing because it reveals a creator. And what our research has been doing for the past 5 years is revealing how it works and proving it. You can go out there and prove to yourself this technology is interacting in your local environment. That's where we're at now with our research with the Operation Rainbow Warrior program. It's so people can go out themselves and prove it to themselves.
It's got to be creator or creators, hasn't it?
Yeah. We don't limit to one,
Yeah.
It's a massive design and build, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was teams of them doing it. But, you know,
And it's been added to. I think it's been really messed about with.
giants and titans would have to play a part in something of this scale.
Yeah.
So, you know, there is another proof that they existed, so that these beings had to have a hand in help building this, surely.
Yeah. And there's strange illustrations showing giants building mountains and
Carvings, all
weird
and
stuff.
they're
Yeah,
there
you
now.
know, these megalithic ruins, you know, we didn't make those, did we? It's not our scale of working.
And there are mountain ranges that are entire giants, you know. So
Yeah.
And they say things are 200 years old and they're nearer 900, 1,000 years old. It's crazy.
well, we've had mud flood in the past couple of 100 to 300 years
Yeah.
worldwide. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they took the 2,000-year Noah story and just added that zero, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. They've
Played with the
added to
dates.
it and embellished it and put a load of total nonsense in there just to distract us.
Yeah,
You
and
know, keep us
took out Enoch.
distracted with storylines.
Enoch.
Debbie answers, Jason Akiax fits with your information. Well, no, it doesn't fit with our information. He's simulation theory, outer space information, like a globo would believe in. He's completely new to flat Earth. And the last video I've seen of him, he was pushing a map and model. So, sorry, no, people just don't appear and do that kind of thing in flat Earth without getting noticed.
Yeah, or we get space news like the latest is if a planet has an aurora borealis, there's going to be life on it.
Our, you know, our researchers have revealed there's a 400-year reset. That's what we're working with. Any other resets are probably mechanism changes that are related to events taking place that lead to these resets. You know, there's small things taking place, and really big ones take place every 400 years, it seems. And that this is when this entity that's taken over the world is taking advantage of this reset. They work around these resets. The last one we can see was the 1600s, the Black Death. That was their pandemic of their time. What are we having in our time, people? A pandemic.
Yeah, and the boils and lesions on the skin would indicate, you know, solar radiation or some type of radio poisoning, not necessarily a viral infection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should keep out of this sun. The sun today here was vicious. Couldn't look at the sky, even looking away from the sun. And I'm a sky watcher. It was harsh. The glare. So, yeah, and aren't there some CMEs at the moment going on with the sun, whatever they are?
So anyway, you know, back to what we're talking about with other people's research. They're too far behind what we've been doing. We've been working on this constantly for 5 years. We know it and can explain it and can point it out to you in nature. So you can go out there and prove it to yourself. So, you know, other people's theories are their theories for them to prove. We're not into simulation theory. We're dealing with reality and the most serious and amazing research that you're ever going to come across. And, you know, I've been exposing a lot of frauds in this community lately that's ripping off this research, trying to monetize it and also adding disinformation to it. If you're going to do that to our content, I will expose you.
Freaking break.
I don't care who you are or how many subs you've got. I'll expose you if you start doing that to us. If you want our content, share it as it is. Stop removing the credits and let people know where it's coming from. That's not a lot to ask.
It's very unprofessional as well. I mean, in academia, you have to credit everything or you're out.
Yeah, you know, we do our best to credit people that send in clips and information to us. But you know, these people aren't doing that. They're taking from our research, promoting it on their channel, redressing it and cashing in on it and whatever, you know. It's just adding disinformation to content that we're proving with our map and model. So if you're going to behave like that, you will get exposed, and that's what I've had to do. We're not interested in drama, but to protect the integrity of the team members and their research, which is their own content and copyright to them, unique to them, I will expose you because you're stealing their content and their own research. You didn't make it; these people did. And it's not just ours they're doing it to. It's other people's. We can see they do it to a lot of people's research. They just take it, geek it, gatekeep it, associate it with nonsense that's been debunked and monetize it. What kind of behavior is that?
I agree. If we're not monetizing it and we're handing this out so the world can try to learn the truth, then don't monetize it. Like, we don't mind if people share our work, but don't take away our avatars, steal our content, and then monetize it for money.
Or
You know,
lie,
don't do
or
that.
lie to people that it's your own decodings, which is what someone
Right.
is doing.
Exactly. Don't do that, because that's just not right, you know. And this should be free for everybody to know. We should have all grown up learning this information. And the fact that we haven't, you know, it's very frustrating. But
Mm.
now we're trying to find truths and we're giving it to the world for free. This is how it should be. It should be part of our cultures, you know. Still,
People, you know, people trying to monetize it, they're not here for the truth. They're trying to make money out of something that's special like this. You know, so we do watch who's taking, we see who's doing it, and I'll name them. You know, not now, I've already named them on my BitChute channel, some of them. So yeah, that's the, you know, if you're going to behave like that, I'll come and have a look at your channel, show people how you really operate. That's what I'll do. But, you know, time is of the essence, people. We haven't really got time for this. We didn't come here for that. We come here to find out how this works and what the hell's going on. Why are they lying to us? What's the big secret? Well, we're giving you these secrets. We've been doing this for 5 years now. We can explain
Well,
it.
they're calling this all these weird weathers that we're getting climate change. They've been pushing the climate change agenda, and now it's all climate change. We've got to go green and invest in all sorts of money in all sorts of projects. They're all probably going to fall flat at some point. They're getting loads of money and investments.
That's just so they can spray crap out the sky, you know, and
more money, more money.
Try and hide what's being revealed in the heavens. That's what they're trying to do.
Well, the skies never used to look like this. They never used to look like how they do now. You couldn't see all those layers. You didn't have all those wings. You didn't have the sun halos. And this has been in the last, I don't know, 10 years.
Think what you would see if they weren't doing that.
I know.
You know,
you'd see the
full sun halo, wouldn't you? You'd see all of the sun halo.
You'd see the whole thing, that whole amazing thing.
Debbie
and we might, question.
So they can interfere with part of it. We know that. They can interfere with the magnetic part of it, but not the electric, because what we're seeing in the sky, where there's just the single smaller halo, that's Adam, that's the electric part of it. So they can't seem to conceal that, but they definitely conceive in Eve, which is the horizontal larger halo, the body. That's the head and the body. They conceal the body, but not the head. So that's interesting.
Maybe it all comes up like a scarab.
It does. When you look at the, you know, the 3D model made of it from a top-down view, it's the scarab beetle. It's the Buddha.
Imagine the colours.
The Buddha shape.
If we could actually really see the sky as it's meant to be seen, because it's been so messed with.
Yeah.
We get glimpses, we get hints of what's up there sometimes.
That's the sad part, you know, people seeing the glory and not realizing what they're looking at.
Yeah.
You know, you can point this sun halo out to someone out on the street and say, look at that, and they'll just look up and then straight back on the phones again. They're not interested.
Oh, I've had years of it. I gave up with them ages ago.
You know, I've done it to people at parks. You know, I've been walking through a park and you see the halo and say, hey, look at that. And, you know, some of them do, wow, what the hell is that? You know, says, hey, let's start looking at the sun halos on YouTube. You know, give them an idea. Hey, there's a bit more to this world than meets the eye. Give them, you know, somewhere to look for. So just Google sun halo. You'll find it. And you know, one guy was talking. He stood. I walked away, and he was stood there for a good 5. I kept looking back. He was stood in the same place like 5 minutes, and was standing there staring at it. So he got it. He realized, what the hell is this I'm looking at? But you know, like 3 or 4 others.
It's so obvious and so huge when you see it, and yet people walk around with that up there. But I do point it out to people sometimes, and they say, "Oh, I can't see; it's too bright. I can't see; it's too bright," because they just never look up. Because I can just look up without sunglasses on now.
Debbie has a couple questions.
Yeah.
So the first one is, Where'd it go? I lost it now. Couldn't nature be simulated? And then isn't the construct a simulation?
Well, how would you know that? You would have to prove you're in a simulation. I've had these questions in my comments, probably the same people. But, you know, that's them pushing their simulation theory onto us and trying to make us answer it for them. No, that's for you to prove you live in a simulation.
There was a guy called Org Tellers around a few years ago, and he was really into the simulation theory, and that we're sort of like on an event horizon watching something that's happened before, and completely did my head in, and how we're avatars, and have you had a dream where you've woken up in a pod? And I actually really have had a weird dream where I woke up and had people around me, and I don't know what they are, but people have these dreams, so I don't know what's going on. But I don't think we're in a simulation. Pocket universe, maybe.
No, I look at that as
does.
more disinformation. To me, that's more disinformation. That no one's
Yeah, I'm
proven
being
in a simulation.
facetious.
Yeah.
No, I think this is the real thing. It's too messed up and too complex to be a
And
simulation.
you can follow the path of how they've tried to hide it all. So no, I'm not into simulation theory whatsoever. This is reality, and the reality is we live on something very special that's been created using technology on a grand scale, that scales way beyond the known world map in all directions. And these people are hiding it and stealing it. That's the reality of where we find ourselves. Hey, look at that sun halo there. That's cool, isn't it?
Yeah,
there's like an angel shape right there. Look.
I think they do simulate aspects of it, like they do fake snow. A lot of people have seen it, and they do fake areas of weather.
Yeah, that's
stuff like that.
That's
There's
man's
local simulation.
manipulation. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's man's manipulation of reality,
that
isn't
sort
it?
of thing. But the whole thing to be simulated.
No, this is.
And I think they simulate some foods. I think some foods are just totally made out of absolutely nothing. Probably
This is
waste
something
product.
totally amazing that they're trying to hide.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had them questions, but they ask the questions and expect me to answer their
Yeah,
feelings.
look at it. There it is.
That's, we're proving our real world here. Anything else is for other people's, your theory is yours to prove, not mine. We're proving our theory right here.
I've thought about all of these things. It's a real world out there.
There's a lot of people bring all these topics into flat Earth, and we have genuinely looked at them ourselves, but we can't find endpoints to anything. And timelines, just if you're into timeline guessing, that's up to you to prove. If you can prove all these events took place in history, the characters that the events we were talking about were actually real people and not technologies, because what you have to consider in our research is they're not talking about people. They tell you how this technology works. They're explaining its processes and roles, and they use characters, male and female, to tell you this story. It's how we've always been taught it in history. We can see it. The ancients have always taught male and female characters to represent these angels and what they do. So it's nothing to do with theory. Simulation. This is real world. Reality check for everyone. What do you live on, people? Look at it. We live on a creation.
This is an incredible bit of footage, isn't it?
Oh, I'd love to go there. Yeah. Hope I get to see it like that.
Just absolutely incredible. The whole lot. Look at that.
Stunning, isn't it?
That's the bit we get to see, that middle bit.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a video and a half, that is, isn't it? Look at that, people. Ice crystals, they tell you, caused that. Really? They make some weird shapes, these ice crystals, don't they? No, they actually help reveal. They actually help reveal electromagnetics. That's what you're really seeing. Water droplets and ice crystals give us a little gaze into the Creator's glory.
Rainbows have always been my favourite thing.
You always look at them, don't you, when they appear?
Yeah, me too. Even when I was a child.
Yeah,
just seeing one, it just It just makes you feel so good to see
It's
one.
like bliss. It feels like blissful. Like coming home feeling. It's weird.
Could be like a reassuring feeling because you've been seeing them since you were born, really, haven't you?
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
a childhood feeling of excitement when you
it's
see a
something that's
rainbow.
always accompanied you through life. Rainbows.
Yeah, and
Seeing such amazing color in such a natural surrounding, suddenly it's just such a shock. It's wonderful.
last weekend I was working overtime and my little local guy popped his head back out. I got to see him.
Yeah, well, mine hasn't been around for a bit. I got up at 7 o'clock in the morning to see the one in the west, and it was really close too. It was pink. All the sky was pink. And
Yeah,
I was
mine
half
is.
asleep, and I had to go and get the camera. It's really difficult. I was going to. All the cats were around me for food, and I was outside with this camera at 7 o'clock.
Look at that. What a beauty that, eh? Yeah, look at partly cloudy now. That's what you would get to see if they weren't doing it. Look at this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just ice crystals. Nothing to see here. Really?
Yeah, Book of Miracles stuff, that.
It is, isn't it? You see it in the paintings. And you see these. Ooh, it's reset coming. Look at that. That's his local rainbow showing. That is his local Taurus field right above him. Ah, how cool is that? Standing in the middle of that. He's right in the middle of it. Or appears to be in the middle of it. Yeah, look at that. It completely encircles him.
It's over a housing estate. That's beautiful.
Looks lower down as well there, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Almost looks like that's trying to rim the moon.
It looks like fog, that, doesn't it? It's shown through fog.
And the ridge.
The snow there, I think.
Yes, it does show better when there's cold conditions like that, doesn't it? They're not coming.
There it is. Look at that.
Must be a shock to some people like coming outside and looking and saying, "What the hell has happened to the sun? What's going on here?" Oh, it's just ice crystals. Don't worry about it. We'll chem them away and it'll be gone. Don't worry. Yeah, I got to see it again last week, so it made me smile again. It was nice to see it.
Yeah, it was very halo-y round here today.
You get the feel for the conditions now, don't you?
Yeah.
You just go out and look up and there you are. I can see you.
It was really active here today as well. Real lot going on.
So, yeah, Revelations right here. Any questions from people in chat on the sun halo? And we'll move to other subjects. Look at that. What a nice capture that is there from a plane. Thank you, Debbie, for sharing our research. I'm sure, you know, if it makes sense to you, it'll make sense to others. It all depends what their knowledge base and interest is, really, if they understand it or not. But, you know, we cover that many topics. There's a topic there that they should understand and see where it fits in. Such a big picture, people. Don't worry about it. You know, people's worried they're never going to get it all. We don't expect anyone to get it all. To get it all like we do, you have to be working with it and breaking it down and explaining it.
Even then, you reach things that are just, you know, mind melting, and they can stop you. You know.
Yeah, you know, it's happened to Jimbo. You took some time out, didn't you, Jimbo? Because it literally melts your brain working with it.
Catatonic.
It's such a shock to the system, realizing where you live. I can't think of another way to word it.
Land of giants.
Well, for me, I think for me, for me, can you hear me?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I think if it was a bit like, you know, like some people who are globies can't accept the flat earth because they really can't let go of the idea of space because things like Star Trek have programmed them. I think for me, I really couldn't get rid of the idea of there not really being something up there with proper angels. I really wanted there to be proper angels. So having to suddenly take these sort of like spiritual things and then they become a more mechanical thing. However, since then, I have realized that there is a huge spiritual aspect to this. So I was right all the time. It just wasn't what I thought. Yeah. Yeah, it is sort of like, and then when you start to think about it, because I'm a huge film buff and I love all the Indiana Jones type films or anything like that, The Mummy, all of that thing. And what are they doing? They're going underground into these places that are not supposed to go to get hidden treasures, and there's all these booby traps and all this weird crap going on. And some of them are really quite complex Egyptian,
the story,
huge.
aren't they, Jax?
Yeah, they're just telling
story
you
of what they've been doing. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Putting
Raiders
it-
of the
putting it
Lost
to
Ark,
movies.
and
Yeah.
yeah, they're looking for the angel rooms. They're looking for the technology.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
all these mines that go down, they claim for gold and everything. You know, they're feeler mines. They're going
Yeah,
for something else.
yeah.
I mean, what's down 2 miles or more? You know, they're looking for something.
Oh yeah.
They say, "Oh, we're setting up to catch neutrions and stuff." No, you're not. You know.
Nope, they're already here. They're just redecorating some rooms, breaking into rooms and redecorating them and chiseling the names off above the doors and these kind of things. I think are taking place. I was
But
talking
look
about that. I was actually talking about that to someone in the stream today. You know, they were asking about the angels' names. And I says, well, I think the original names will probably be above the angel's door, you know, above the doorway where it's into that room that they're in. They would probably be somewhere like that if these people haven't been defacing them, which I would imagine they would be. They've got a lot to hide. If they're going to say they made all this, they have to hide everything. That means defacing and destroying things, doesn't it?
Never stopped them before.
No, this has been progressively going on for the last 2,000 years, if timelines are to be believed, which I don't think they are. You could easily insert 1,000 years into a timeline after a reset and lie about it. So I don't think it's as old as they're saying, you know, maybe.
no, I don't think anything is.
Yeah. But what we do know is, you know, our 400-year reset takes us back to the Roman invasion, which is when the calendars got
Whatever
changed.
that is.
So that was the start of it when the Romans invaded, and you know, like you'd say, invaded Britain. According to their timeline, it was like 0.56 AD. So the calendar had already been reset. So this was just after the reset, and you know you can walk in after a reset. Everyone's confused, and it's probably easy to take over. That's when your
It's a
enemies.
free for all, isn't it?
That's when they're at your weakest, your country, after a reset.
Yeah.
So they've came in and then they've took over and they've invented religion. They converted their forts into churches. So that's where religion was born. These people are selling you religion. Reality is not a religion, people. There's a creator and their glorious technology. We're going to keep saying that now. That's reality. That's not a religion. What they're saying in religion is not what we're seeing in reality. Far from it. It's designed to hide it. And people like Mauro Biglino, Vatican translator, he's coming out and saying the same thing. The angels are robots, technology.
Yeah.
That's what he's decoded in the Vatican. And he says they know this, but they're not putting it into the holy books. So they're hiding it from you.
They fly above and they operate below. And don't get.
Yes.
The monad, the dyad, and the demiurge is what it's talking about, isn't it?
Yes, they fly above me and operate below. That's amazing.
As above, so below, huh? Decoded.
Yeah. Because people think below is this bit, but it's not. It's down there. Nobody ever thinks about down there. It's like the sky. It's like everybody's so embedded in the physical bit.
Like Chris just said, Jackson chat, look at some of the old village graveyards. The date showed J706, for example, not 1706.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, I don't think anyone knows the true dates of all these resets. How could you possibly know the real date?
Yeah, because they made the the eye look like a number 1, and Turkish stones and stuff. So 19 or 1500s would actually be the 500s.
Yeah, it's easy to insert a thousand years or so and invent characters and queens and kings and other things, and religions and globes and all the rest of it. It's all nonsense to hide this.
Yeah, and this
is all there is, a creator and their glory being technology.
Yeah, they don't teach us what we need to know. They just teach us a load of trivia.
I found a crystal that you can see the sun through clouds, or when it's beyond, visible to the naked eye.
Very cool. Like Jimbo showed me that. Amazing. Oh, cool. Seeing track where the sun is without even being able to see it. How cool is that?
It probably helped the Vikings in the day.
Yeah.
They were much smarter than we were. I know that. Older than we are. You can see it in the sacred geometry. They knew all this.
Well, it's like that ring that you found with the nodes on it. It looks exceptional. It looks almost like something for science.
It's the sun halo, isn't it? When you look at it, it decodes as the sun halo. This is where your jewelry comes into it. It's designed looking at sun halo and things.
It's made for knitting, So.
Oh, that thing, yeah. The
brass ring with the nodes on it and the hole in the center.
Yeah, they were lead them. But the ones I showed you, they were fishing weights. But I know the one you mean because they're called spindle whorls, and they use them for like knitting and things like that. You're right. It's the ones I showed you, the fishing weights, are probably they've probably been derived from that. But they originally were, you look at some of them, the designs on them, Jim, they look like the center of our grid.
Yeah.
We're all in the center. Look, to me, it's a representation of the center of our grid. And it's been, it's been used as a tool as well, for like knitting or something. That's what they use, these spindle whorls. Clever stuff. And it's just more proof that, our ancestors knew understood what this sacred geometry represents. They've always known what it represents. And it was never a religion.
Even Hookaloop, old as the hills.
Yeah, look at the Celtic cross. There's compression, expansion right there. That's what the cross is sacred for, people. It's to remind you about compression and expansion cycles. That's what's sacred about your cross. It's not a religion. It's trying to show you how this works. Walter Russell's mortar is a good clue to how it works. Yep, the Maltese cross. Same thing, isn't it? Everywhere you look, this geometry just appears, and that's an easy decode. That's compression expansion cycle right there. This is how we've been doing it for years. We've made a blueprint of it. This is the prefab of decoding the geometry. This is some of our team's unique for, decoding this geometry and showing you what it really relates to, and using the science of Walter Russell to explain it, because this science really is the science of this technology. Nothing else you could relate his science to. Well, you know, as soon as I looked at his science, I knew it related to this. I could see it. And not one of the scientists will ever give you the cause, because you'll notice that they just talk about the effects and elaborate on effects. They never give you the cause. Well, we're giving you the cause, people. This is it. It's this technology that they're all our sciences are coming from.
Scientists just give you a load of waffle and theory. I just can't be bothered with it, and I haven't got any left brain, so I'd rather observe and.
Well, they can't validate
connect.
most of what they claim is science.
Yeah, the Yanks are representation of like Walter Russell's motor with the octaves, where you would harness electrical energy, the positives and negatives at each venturi as it
So
narrows.
I'm understanding how I've always had a thing about electricity, but they don't even know how electricity works, do they?
So Isis is the female of the Ankh, the female aspects of the Ankh. And then you've got the positive sides, the male, Osiris.
Pushing and pulling.
Yep. Rocking our world.
There's a lot of depictions of Isis. I've got a few. I've got a little like statue of her and this huge papyrus, and in those she's kneeling with her wings up, but in other ones she has them in different positions, and I think that's depicting whether she's switched on or off. You know?
Yeah. Makes sense, doesn't it? Different depictions showing different parts of the process.
Yeah, very, very interested and drawn to Isis. The feminine, all the feminine.
Yeah, it all starts with the female. Has to be a push from Eve, or the flow from Eve, to help create Adam, to create the demiurge. Oh, look at that.
They're positive, negative cycles, half cycles.
Yeah, Jimbo's good on that kind of information, wave clipping and what have you, Jimmer.
Yeah.
This is how man harnesses it. Jimbo shows you how man's harnessing it, you know, using...
Turn the AC to DC, basically.
That's
But
all man's doing, isn't it?
There's no electricity on flat Earth, because actually in your high tension wires, there's nothing flows through it. There's just a potential, you know.
A waveform. Yeah, it's a waveform through it, and that's enough to activate it. And a waveform, a spiral, is alternating, so it's an alternating current. Alternating signal going through it is what's agitating the already preset positive and negatives in that piece of wire. It's just agitating it. Well, not agitating, it's probably the wrong word, agitating, but you know what I mean. You know, it's a rocking action that's causing it's causing a chain reaction to take place, and this is when, you know, this is what we're calling electricity.
Yeah. And then it's all like induced through iron coils and insulated wire to, you know, your household lines and stuff.
Yeah, like that halo there, you know, there's a big induction coil right there.
That's amazing. Whoa.
Well, it's like the size of the metal plates that help to guide the sun that are, you know, buried under the earth. Some shallow.
Yeah.
And they're cut to form, and like we showed with the Nazca Lines, it's a huge cathode ray tube, basically, our sun and its motions across the plane, you know.
Yeah. Sweetback transformer and flyback killer, Jim, wasn't it?
Yeah, with signals apparently coming from, you know, the Antarctic and stuff. But now, knowing this, we can map the horizontal sweep, you know, when the horizontal, the vertical cutoff, you know, when it sweeps back to, you know, start again for a new day. We can map those and plot those things now. So the frequencies, you know.
Wow.
Yeah. I forget the mapping that shows some of the signals there, the mimic map.
Yeah.
So probably be able to use that to plot, you know, transmissions and receptions of, you know, some will transmit a signal to a machine, and the machine broadcast back, you know.
Yeah, activations and deactivations of technology, isn't it? You know, it's getting a radio signal of some type and activating something. Yeah, you're right. You know, you can see that taking place on the Mimic.
Huge relays.
We showed that years ago, didn't we? All these signals
Yeah.
taking place crossing the map. Amazing stuff.
Very,
The scale
very-
of them as well.
very directional signals and
Yeah. And always coming from the same places. Something else you can't hide, isn't it?
yeah. It wasn't Deception Island, but not too far from there.
Aptly named. Another island aptly named there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just can't help themselves, can they?
Well, I figured down south there, the old Australias, they found some of these winged birds that could pick up elephants and stuff like that.
Sounds like Jason and the Argonauts stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, there used to be a lot of life down in that so-called ring of land that they called Australias. But now they claim it's all winter and snowy and icebound.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be very big creatures there. And unusual ones in the waters too, you know, the Capricorn or other creatures, Leviathans.
Like Chris said in chat there, Jim, you know, the seasons are being controlled as a vertical hold, basically. Yeah, you know, horizontal and vertical hold, isn't it? Like we've mentioned before, that's what's keeping it between the tropics.
Yeah. And like I say, off of New Zealand, off of the volcanic islands of I forget what they're called, and then north of Russia are your sweep triggers, you know.
Yeah.
They're the plates that give the push to the sun to make it go east. When it's in the extreme south, it's their summer, our winter, and you know.
Yeah, I did do a seasons video to show, you know, the sun going up and down where the gates would be using the overlay, and it makes so much sense what we're seeing. It's matching it, and it actually, you know, what surprised me was it matched with the old creation calendar saying, but it also showed me that our birth signs are directly related to a gate sequence. So, you know, your birth sign is related to a gate. I thought, wow, fancy that. You know, you don't hear of that anywhere. You know, these people into horoscopes and things. Now you're aware this your birth sign is actually related to a gate, the sequence of a gate. You know, like, you know, Scorpio saying that's a gate, whatever, you know, it's everyone's got a gate number or a name, you know, its name comes from the gate of where the sun is for that month. How cool is that you can relate it to something you hadn't known about previously, but there they are, the 12 gates. 12 signs of the Zodiac.
Almost looks like there's a comet coming in from the bottom right there on the last one. Nice hot spot.
Yeah, some fantastic bids on here now, isn't there?
It doesn't even look like daytime yet.
No, still night there.
Unless that's the moon.
Yeah, it's the moon, that. You can see part of its halo there. Quite big, the halo, but makes sense. It's lower down in the layers. That's where it appears larger. Oh, look at that. So that's chems floating past, but it's not working very well, are they?
So that's not ice crystals with clouds moving that fast. And the ring sort of just flowing with the moon.
So they can hide Eve's horizontal halo, it seems, but not Adam's, which would be that vertical one. You know, each one of these has got positive and negatives going on, isn't it? So they're hiding half of the moon halo, but they can't hide that part. The same with the sun. They can't seem to hide that part of it. I think that's the electrical part of it they can't seem to do anything with, but the magnetic part they seem to be able to hide it wherever they came into the sky. Yeah, people think that horoscopes are something just in newspapers and magazines. Yeah, that's what Chris just said in the chat. No, it goes a lot deeper now, doesn't it?
Yes.
We're starting to assemble where it all actually relates to now. some giving it more meaning, if anything, isn't it? Oh, that makes it a bit more special then, doesn't it? That I would like to have a tour and go and see my gate. I want to see what my gate looks like. One day that might happen, people. Huh? Fingers crossed it all goes the right way. People wake up and change history. Which brings us to, we do want to speak with tribal leaders, if anyone can make that possible. We'd like to speak to them and explain to them our decodings and how it fits in with their creation stories. If they've forgotten what some of it represents and means, we can fill in those gaps. If they already know what it means, that's also fine. But, we're just confirming what they're saying is true, and we can give it more scientific explanations of what it is, how it works. We are the link now between the past and explain it to the present and the future. We've got a chance to explain how it really works to the world. And we'd like to seek the right people to speak to about it, because they can prove this themselves to the world. What a lot of these tribes tell you, these stories. I think they know how it works and there's technology involved, but they don't say it. But we're at a point in our history now. We need to tell people what this is. And how it works, and that there is a creator. And we're supposed to be protecting this, studying it and protecting it. That's all we should be doing. Yeah, I've got the audio off on these, Jim, because there's just music on with these. So I don't want to fill the stream of music. So we're just using those background videos while we chat. A totem pole, Chris. Yeah, well, I would say it's another representation of the Walter Russell motor. I can see it in the Native Americans' designs. I've decoded it. I can see it in there's a painting that Amanda used in one of her clips in that reset video, the part 4. I can see the Walter Russell motor octaves of a design in their geometry. So the totem pole might be something similar. It makes you wonder, Chris, is it not just an electric dipole it represents? Yeah, it could, might just represent the electric dipole, which Walter Russell's motor kind of does, and sort of the angels. They're basically electric dipoles, the way they operate. Elevated, I say the word projected into the sky. The correct terminology really is elevated into the sky, because this is what electromagnetism causes. It's got no choice but to be elevated into the sky 90 degrees in opposition. This is what's taken place on a creator size scale. So that's the better terminology would be elevated into the sky. Because it's electromagnetism. It's got no choice but to be forced into opposition above that halo. Electro and magnetism working together. That's the most amazing thing you'll ever see, isn't it? I mean, you look at our world and what they've hidden. I can't believe that we fell for it. We did. All of us fell for it. The lie, or the lies. You don't question any of this until you come to the topic of flat Earth.
It's just the blind faith of children.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
From an early age, we've been indoctrinated, and we assume our parents know it to be true, so we just let it go. They probably assumed their parents knew it was true and let it go, but we don't. We just repeat what they tell us. We've never actually proven any of what they tell us, have we? In fact, you can't prove what they tell you. People have tried to prove the globe many, many times. It just ends up bad, doesn't it? Yeah, we accept the world for which it is presented.
Yeah.
Without question. I'm sorry, but we're questioning it now. And that's when it all falls apart, doesn't it?
Well, you always sort of think, well, surely to God, this isn't right. And you sort of do stuff and you don't want to do it. And if you don't do it, people say you're weird. And then you end up people thinking you're weird. And then you wake up.
Mm-hmm.
But you always knew that there was more to it.
Yeah, I think we all knew something was there. We just didn't know what
Yeah.
it was. You couldn't put your finger on it because it's so big and vast. It's beyond your normal thinking, isn't it? You wouldn't think of these kind of things before.
No.
Kat wants you to explain your take on chemtrails, please.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Kat. Yeah, chemtrails, these are designed to, they can show things in the sky or they can hide things in the sky. If they're using barium, you would actually see a lot more of this. So I think they probably originally used it to start mapping some of it out, but because it reveals it for everyone, it's not what they want to do, is it? So they've devised chemtrails now to basically dry up the atmosphere, is what they're trying to do. It's interfering with the precipitation process, which is really how the angels work. It's the precipitation process is an effect of the cause of these angels doing their processes. It's the angels manipulating the ether, and what they're trying to do is dry it up, and then it hides it. It kind of masks it. They can hide and dry the atmosphere up. You're not going to see as much showing in the atmosphere because ice crystals and water droplets are helping us see this taking place. And if they can get rid of them, then we're not going to see it. So the chems are designed to try and dry the atmosphere up, or remove water droplets and ice crystals out of the atmosphere, because you can see in these videos, the colder it is, the more you get to see. And that's what happens during the reset, where it's going to get colder. And historically, these paintings already exist in books like the Book of Miracles we decoded. It shows you them painting these in previous reset events. So, it's none of it's made up. It just makes more and more sense the more you study it and analyze it and decode it. We've always known about it. But yeah, that's what chems are doing. They're trying to hide this. They're trying to mask they don't want you to see this, because you're going to realize sooner or later what it is. Well, we realized 5 years ago what it is, and this is what we've been proving.
So my cat's just coming.
Got its own key now, is it?
You are.
Has it got its own key now?
Did you hear the bell ringing? He has a bell on because he brought a bird in once. So.
Yeah. Hello, Andrew. Good to see you, mate.
Hi, Andrew. Hi, Kat.
It is, education. You don't actually start learning anything really till you leave school, do you? School's there to put a lot of crap. School's there to put a lot of crap in your head that you go through life with assuming was to be correct and true. But it's only when you leave school you really start learning reality and all the rest of it. Like Chris says before, with that busy paying to live here, we haven't got time to look around.
Well, it was when I came out of work in 2012 that I really started to look. But I was like on a lot of forums, waking up to all the other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
You sort of find your way in, don't you?
Yeah, everyone does that, don't they? They look around at all the different
Well, I went
theories.
Hollow Earth first. Hollow Earth was coming up on a few forums. And then Flat Earth kept coming up on my sidebar all the bloody time. And I kept ignoring it. Yes, it's flat Earth. And one day I just thought, oh, for God's sake, I'm going to have a look at it. Because people were starting to say oh, you got to look at it, You could see it in comments and stuff. You really got to look at this. So I looked. Unfortunately, the first one I had picked was Eric Dubay. And I was just sold on it pretty much immediately. He was talking about how from birth we're indoctrinated with this globe model. And I thought, God's sake, yeah, because I'd never really liked the idea of it. I mean, how in the name of God does the water stay on, I used to think. And why aren't we spinning off? And what if the fucking thing stopped? So I didn't like to think about it.
Yeah.
So when I realized, of course it is. Oh God, of course it is. You know?
It gets more ridiculous, doesn't it? The way you think
Yeah.
about it. You go, you get angry with yourself and thinking, how did I let myself get duped like that?
Yeah.
I've been duped so much. But not just you, it's everyone. You know, everyone's been duped. That's the good thing, you know, you've got people to fall back on and discuss it with. That's the good thing about this community. People know it's level and stationary and they're willing to come in and chat about it. Some of them aren't really into maps and models, which is fine. They haven't done the research or don't understand how the research is done, perhaps. I don't know. But that's up to them, you know. Some people are happy just saying it's flat and staying there. But me, I come here to find out what it is and how it works. If it's not a spinning ball, I want to know exactly how it works and, you know, what's putting those lights in the sky and moving them and who created those mechanisms. Because that's what we're looking at, giant mechanisms, technology.
Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah, you know, that was my original avenue of research. I thought, okay,
Yeah.
they're lying about a globe. The only technology can explain this. And believe it or not, it is.
I think I see a few faces in those mountains.
Yeah, Jimbo's spotting them there. Yeah, I can see a guy's chin over there.
Yeah, nose.
Yeah, you have to do some more of those vids, Jim. They're giants. We'll get you.
We'll get there.
Yeah, get that computer, mate, and get back in doing them again. Eh?
Yeah.
There's much to see yet.
More headaches.
More revelations.
That's
More oohs and ahs. And ahas. Ah. Yeah, it's cool how it all ties in, doesn't it? You know, giants tie in with this and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's all there. Yeah, that's good to hear about Roger anyway. At least he's, you know, I think he did genuinely have a go at trying to debunk flat earth, but it was embarrassing watching what he was showing, you know, like fisheye camera lens rubbish and things like that. It's, you know, if you're gonna attack flat earth, you better come very well equipped or you're gonna look stupid really quick. And there is no one equipped to take it on, to be honest, is there? You can't take on reality, sorry.
Is that Roger Mud Fossil Roger?
Yeah, Jimbo was saying earlier, you know.
Yeah, but
backed off a bit
he
on
really got me into mud fossils, really big time.
But
Well, I used to enjoy watching his videos. I haven't watched them, but you know, since he banned me. But
no.
I
actually
wasn't being
unsubbed
nasty or anything.
But I still watch. And he has mellowed out a bit, which is kind of good because.
Well, I think he's going to lose a lot of subscribers if he keeps attacking them anyway.
Yeah.
There's more and more every day, isn't there? He's going to be the only glober in the room soon and talking to flat earthers, isn't he? You know, most of his subscribers are probably flat earthers by now. If they're not, why not? What they're busy with?
It's like Earthquake Boy in one, you know. He needs some time with one.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? You would agree with that one, wouldn't you? Give him some updates on why certain things don't happen on certain parts of the map.
Yeah, I tried.
Mm-hmm.
No response.
We did actually make a video, didn't we? Just specifically for him.
Roger.
You know, the good thing is out there, one, you've done your best, and the guy had the chance to reach out, and it's his loss. Sooner or later, he's going to look at it and say, I wish I'd took them up on that.
Well, he's still doing good work, you know. You can't fault him at that.
I'm not attacking the guy, you know. It's when he's ready, you know, people aren't ready for it.
Oh, it's a shock, you know, and there's a lot of denial involved.
So what we will say to him, if he ever listens to this stream, you know, this technology is creating the events you're plotting on your map. That's how important it is. That's why these people are attacking you, because sooner or later you're going to realize that this is so predictable. It's running like clockwork. Well, actually, it is on a grand scale.
Yeah, yeah.
So, that's a realization he will come to himself. These are revelations they're going to have themselves. Everyone looking into flat Earth is going to have revelations of some kind. And when you come across what our researchers put them back into its original context, you're going to have a hell of a lot of revelations. People will see things that we don't see, or they'll find things we don't know about, or they'll mention something that we haven't looked at or realized was even connected. That's what's been happening sometimes. People mention something and say, oh, that's good information. That plugs in here somewhere.
Did you know a YouTuber called Stan Smith?
Yeah, a good friend of mine. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Sun and Moon Family the other day put a bit of a video up of his, and he was talking about these clockwork devices that were in cathedrals. They used to set up these huge, great big, like astrolabes inside churches, and that was one of the things that they used to use them for. And that's one of the reasons the doors are so big, because they were so big, these wheels, they had to roll them in. Anyway, it got me thinking. So I did a Google book search, and I put something in like astrolabes, clockwork devices in early cathedrals, something like that. And I found this book. I hope I've saved it. And it was, we really went into it. It was really quite an old book, going on and on and on. And I scrolled down, and it had all of the chapters were there, all these different chapters, except for one, which was called the Jesuit Clockmakers.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in the book. They'd taken that one chapter out, and I thought, that is the one bloody chapter I would have read.
That was
the one I was looking for. Because all this Swiss clockmaking and all these have you ever looked at the most intricate clocks in the world, and the most intricate insides of clocks? They are unbelievable.
But the Antikythera mechanism give me a good idea what to expect.
Yeah, the Antikythera mechanism.
Yeah, that's an amazing piece, isn't it?
They were doing their level best to recreate it.
They were mapping the movement of the luminaries using a computer, basically hand-crank computer, weren't they?
And to the day, to the hour, to the minute.
Yeah.
And I would say that NASA and them all still use it. Why wouldn't you use it? It's accurate. It's never going to go out of sync or anything, is it? It's always going to do it correct.
Tell you every full moon, part moon, every eclipse.
Inner C says, look at the old Prague clock. You look at there's another thing, people. You look at some of these churches. They have these animated robot characters moving around.
Yes, that Prague clock.
Yeah,
what are they showing?
Think of what Mauro Buglino said. The angels are robots, technologies.
Yeah.
So they've got these animated characters moving around. Where did the idea come from?
Automatons. They were really into them as well.
On the heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a topic there. Someone should put a load of them together just so we can study and analyze them one night. We'll have a good look at them and see what they actually represent.
I did a video on automatons years ago, but those clocks, I'm fascinated by them.
Hello, NSC, and hello, Renewed Awareness in the chat. Yeah, that'd be a nice topic right there for someone if anyone wants to play around with animated characters on churches and cathedrals. Because what are they doing there? What are they depicting, and where did they get the idea from? It's funny, isn't it? Humans and technology, we've always gone together. Shooting stars, Chris is talking about, shows at night by dates. Yeah, you can time the event of a shooting star. Fancy that. How can you time the event of something that's supposed to be random from space? It's just laughable what they come out with, isn't it? Because all we're looking at is cycles, repeating cycles.
Well, you know, the Antikythera mechanism, they said they even timed the Olympic Games. Well, no, I think it was the Channel Crystal Time that was saying that it's actually the aspects of Venus on her thing around the sun that they're timed with the Olympic Games. So that's what the Antikythera mechanism is showing. It's showing the aspects of something that the Olympic Games are timed with.
My well, you know, my decode of it, Jax, was it's nothing to do with games or.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
it's
to do with
it's more of a.
event.
It looks like it's a 4-year cycle of some kind.
Yeah,
That builds up to the 400-year reset to me. You know, every 4 years there seems to be a change going on. So it's a build up to the 400-year reset, I think. You know, so that's what's hiding in the Antikythera mechanism. I would like someone that understands the mechanism to, you know, go through it and watch what takes place as you get to 400 years over these 4-year cycles that it's supposedly called games, but it's not games. I think it's build up to the reset, you know. That's what I think it's actually relating to.
Yeah, the angels activate and do stuff.
Yeah, you know, you wouldn't, you know, what would games be doing in a mechanism like that?
Yeah,
It
but
doesn't make sense, does it?
People don't question it because they love the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
They do that social thing again. You know, they go, oh yeah, Olympic Games. Oh, wasn't it clever?
And just starting to look at the
Bloody
emblem.
idiots.
Look at the Olympic emblem. You know. No, it's hiding something. It's hiding ink. You know, I think it's moving mechanisms in increments up to this reset event.
Yeah, it works like a clock. It's
because you know, if someone's got access to one of these mechanisms, you know, fast forward it to the 400-year time period and watch what takes place in this mechanism. I'd like to see, you know, someone show what takes place in this mechanism when it's that 400, you know, the reset time. What takes place? What gets reset? Does everything start again from a certain point?
Does it all stop?
Yeah, you know, what actually takes place in that, because when it stops, it's going to have to be synced again, but all starting back up, isn't it?
Yeah, do bits of it stop?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to get it back into sync because all you would do then is look for, you know, the full moon or something, say, right, it's so many of this cycle and start here until you get it right again. So it's an easy mechanism to use and follow, really. Looking at its design, you wouldn't be lost a bit. And
because the 3 days without sun could be it turns off.
Yeah, and that's very possible. It turns off every night, doesn't it? It gets suppressed and returned.
Yeah, but this time it just stays off for 3 days and then it's a new sun.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, that the sun being stuck in the same place in the sky has been referenced before. Like we Flat Fact showed in her decode of the solar drift. You know, the sun's getting between the tropics, it's narrowing and narrowing more and more each year. So eventually it's gone to a standstill in the middle, isn't it? When you think about what it's doing. So that would be the sun stopping. So it probably stop at the equator. You know, you look at the equator, it makes sense. That's why it starts its place. When it stops, it goes back to the center, doesn't it? The guides are no longer pushing it north or south. They're just disabled, and it goes back to the center.
Yeah.
And then it'd have to start up again. No, Andrew says you only see them after chemtrails. No, they were here in history, Andrew. You know, we showed them in our reset videos. There's paintings of these before chemplanes even existed. So it's nothing to do with chemplanes. They're trying to hide it, mate. If you look at our end times decoded videos, you'll see paintings of these in the sky from like the 1600s. There was no chemplanes in the sky in those days. So imagine what you would see if they weren't camming, is what we're saying. You know, when they cam, it hides the large horizontal halo, which is Eve. That's what you're left with Adam, the what appears to be vertical to us, but it's not vertical. It's still horizontal, really, and it just overlaps Eve's halo, but it appears vertical to us, like that one there. So it can't hide that one, but it does hide the other one, the bigger one. So it can hide parts of it, but not all of it. Yeah, this is just parts of the nodes on the halo, the poles on those halos on that coil, north and south poles on the coil. following the rule of 8. There's 8 nodes on that coil. Induction and conduction coils is what you're looking at. And Eve creates the induction and Adam creates the conduction. You have to have an equal and opposite in nature. That's the law. It's a law of nature, equal and opposite reaction. Well, this is that, a reaction. Yeah, put this on the TV. Put this on the TV as a documentary, the APM discussing the sun halos. That'd be a better documentary, wouldn't it?
The ancient Sumerians used to read the sky. It was aeromancy.
Yeah, and the knowledge they probably had, they're discussing what we're discussing right now, but probably had the better terminology for it in their time.
They could pretty much tell you what was going on. So
yeah,
they knew what they were looking at.
The ancients are good teachers. They've left us plenty of clues everywhere, and they're easy to decode once you realize what you're working with.
Yeah.
It just makes more and more sense. It's not pagan worship at all. It's glorifying the Creator's glory. It's all they've ever been doing. Like we're doing. We're glorifying it. We understand it. We can explain it, and we are glorifying it because that's what it's there for. It should be glorified. So that the young get to learn it again.
Well, at one time, the changing of the seasons was sort of revered and, was a sacred time. Now it's like, a new season of Stranger Things is starting. It's the autumn, or
yeah.
It's everything's lost meaning.
Andrew says he'd like to see these halos like we see in these videos. Well, I haven't seen these. I've seen a lot of the parts of it, sure, and I'd like to see the full thing myself. I haven't seen the full thing myself, like you've seen some of these videos, but we need the cold, the cold to show it. So winter's our best time of seeing it. Early morning or late evening, you should get a nice profile of it like that, if they don't bloody chem the skies. So you could maybe go somewhere high up and, observe it better, up a mountain or a hill, say, and get away from the city so you can see it better. All the heat in the city rising and stuff's going to melt all this ice, and what's above the city gets warm, doesn't it? So that's not the best place to be if you're in the city for viewing these, but you will see it in the city. You've probably seen it.
I've seen it in the city. I filmed it in London and the nodes too. And one day I even got the bits around the side, the white bits. So you can get it.
Yeah, it's just, look up one day and you'll see it.
I look all the time. I'm a nightmare to go out with because I'm just looking at the sky all the time.
Good night, Chris. See you next time, mate. Chris is off to bed. Jama's time for
Chris. No night, Chris.
Jama's you. Beat it.
Yeah, I'm not going to be long.
Where's one gone?
Don't know.
I'm here.
Hello, one.
Hello.
I'm just going to grab a cup of guys. I'm getting thirsty. Back in a minute. Hey, you can still talk, while I'm away.
I'm lost in these halos. I really am.
Yeah, amazing captures. I'm still I'm a little bit behind on making those, but don't worry, people. I've got the images you've been sending and what have you. I just haven't got time to do them. My computer's tied up at the moment as well, doing processes for me. Anyway, back in a minute. Talk among yourselves if you like.
Yeah, I filmed a node today. There was a node and it turned into the most wonderful little rainbow, but the colours were so fine. There was no way I could have photographed it. But I was looking at it sort of through the viewfinder, and I took some shots. I might be able to edit it so you can see it, but it was just beautiful. There was just a lot of really strange activity in the sky. Yeah, and Andrew, like this on the screen now, you probably see the 2 and 8 nodes, the 8 and the 2 nodes. They're the ones that tend to show mostly.
Yeah,
2 at the bottom.
2 special ones right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, what they call in sundogs, Andrew, poles on this coil, electromagnetic poles on this coil that alternate the current, the flow around the halo. You electromagnetically switch them, and it causes the flow to spiral within the halo. This is what generates the spiral in the atmosphere, and is what is referred to as cones. These are what create your local winds. Your vortexes, your tornadoes, it's this technology doing it. That's what's sacred about the spiral. Technologically speaking.
They pack a punch.
I bet. And upgrading those magnets, well, it's going to cause stronger induction and conduction.
Whoa, look at that. That's a big sunflower.
Look at the state of that sky.
Shh.
Yeah, the 2 either side of node 1, really, Andrew. Nodes 2 and 8. That's what we noticed. They're the most prominent out of all of them. They're a big part in it. The reason why, because you got frequency injection taking place on another process. This is what these 2 do. These 2 processes are what create, what we see in the sky, basically. It's these processes working together to do it. And that's why it can be switched on and off. Cutting off the head is switching the sun off. The head and the body. That's the head you can see right there. So they're cutting Eve's body off here with the chems, but they can't cut off Adam's head. Adam's the head, Eve's the body. So clearly their chems are interfering with magnetism. Yeah, pretty much. That's what we're really decoding, isn't it? It decodes into a technological construct. It just becomes more and more obvious, especially when you start understanding how this technology works. That's why we use Walter Russell science, because it does explain this. It relates to this. It's from this.
And the spaceships of Ezekiel.
Yeah. Yep. This, you know, what you're looking at there is the sun's chariot.
Yeah, he put a cherub above the path to the Garden of Eden to keep Adam and Eve out after they were banished.
A rainbow.
Other stuff, whirlwind coming out of it.
Yeah, when you look at Enoch's got some lovely descriptions, doesn't it?
Yep. The best.
Yeah.
He was God's, he became Metatron. He ascended to heaven as Metatron, and he was the keeper of like measurements and measure.
Yeah. So another process, another angel, another halo, or
Oh, he showed everything where the so-called portals or gates are and their functions, how all these things worked.
that's what I liked, you know, how we explained the gates and the angles as they were in relation to each other. That's pretty unique explanation for something that we see on the Nazca Lines that matches that.
Wind gates that bring terrible weather, and other wind gates that bring nice
Yeah,
weather.
they bring the good the good weather and the bad weather.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've got it. I've got the book.
Conduction and induction is what we're working with.
And separate areas that blow out this air,
Mm.
like the jet stream.
Yeah, all you need is one of these hieros spiraling in really fast, and you've got a very fast airflow right there. If the head switched off and it's just the other one running, then that's going to create a cold blast.
Yeah, and heat will move to cold
Mm.
in every instance.
You got anything you would like to talk about, one?
I do.
Ah,
Yeah. Want to revisit a subject. And now that Jimbo's here, that would be pretty cool too, because I think he might have something to say about it too.
I'm sure he will. You want me to stop presenting this one?
Yeah, whenever.
There you go. Stop that. And yeah, there you go.
Okay, I want to talk about volcanic lightning. So, volcanic lightning is electrical discharge caused when a volcano eruption rather than from an ordinary thunderstorm. Volcanic lightning arises from colliding and fragmenting particles of volcanic ash and sometimes ice. It generates a static electricity within the volcanic plume, and it leads to what they call a dirty thunderstorm. Moist convection and ice formation also drive the eruption plume dynamics and can trigger the volcanic lightning. So, the earliest recorded observation of this is from Pliny, is that the Younger, describing the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. He said there was a most intense darkness, rendered more appalling by the fitful gleam of torches at intervals, obscured by the transient blazing of lightning. The first studies of volcanic lightning were also conducted at Mount Vesuvius by Professor Polomeri, who observed the eruptions of 1858, 1861, 1868, and 1872 from the Vesuvius Observatory. These eruptions often included lightning activity. Now, I know we've covered this topic before, but remember that this is the same process that happens with the ALICE reactor at CERN. Volcanoes are nuclear energy in the purest form. These volcanic lightnings are showing us the expulsion of the electrostatic energy from our angels below. So other locations are Japan. And I have the pictures showing. I think these are really cool looking.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah. And they're actually coming up out of the volcanoes in some of these.
Some of them look really short.
Yeah. Yeah. And like this one right here, you can clearly see it's going upward. You know.
You can also see the sine wave movement, can't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of this.
Another one is Alaska. Right there. There we go.
Oh, those are nice.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Kind of greenish, eh?
Yeah, kind of green. It makes you wonder if the aurora plays any part in that one, perhaps.
Yeah,
I'm guessing probably.
Yeah. We have another location at Tall Volcano.
Hey, while you've got the green image on screen, there was a guy showing us an image in Discord of like a green sunset. So it does, you know, the sky can go green in certain places.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And you can get blue moons and stuff from too much smoke or dust.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen a blue moon, a few blood moons. But again, there are forest fires burning at the time there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they say they happen from.
I'll put that down. It's Taurus field that you're within. But yeah, carry on, man.
It's okay. We have Iceland. This is the one, that one volcano I am not going to try to pronounce.
And, you know, those are low lying. Those aren't, you know, high mountain peaks and stuff, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that discharge is from, you know, a couple of 100 feet above and below sea level or above sea level.
Exactly. And sometimes you can see it kind of coming down, but others are coming up into the plume. It's not always just coming down.
I think that's positive and negative charges there.
Yeah.
But again, those places are oscillating or alternating, you know, push pull, sometimes positive, sometimes negative, right?
The push pull would be the interaction between the one above and the one that you can see there. Then, you know, the demiurge is doing the opposite, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How cool is that, people? Look at that.
And they're so small too, you know.
Mm-hmm. We have another one at Tall Volcano. Let me get it bigger. There we go.
Yeah, it looks like the little forked lights are going up instead of down.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. Some of them are coming down, but a lot of them are going upward. You know.
Makes sense to me. Yeah, they're reaching up for Adam.
Yeah. Next
Well, you got to
one.
ground somewhere. It's all a antenna ground system. So the sky becomes a ground at some point when lightning is going upward.
The next one is Tonga. So
That's a bit taller. It's a couple miles high, probably.
Mm-hmm. Next one is Kelude in Indonesia. There's that one. There we go. Also has like a greenish tint to the lightning.
And it looks more like a fireworks show.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron, is that anywhere near where you had the blue lava?
It is. I actually mapped that as well, and it's pretty close. It's almost a straight line across to get a little further east and you'll find your blue lava.
Yeah, I wonder if that's playing a part in changing the color of this lightning.
It might.
That kind of those kind of events.
I think it's down there. There's some mud floods going on where they have like, I guess, hot underground volcanic stuff that causes the mud to ooze up and move around, bearing places to the foam coasts. I think that's out in the Philippines or these islands of Java, Krakatoa.
Now, I find this one interesting because see how the lightning is actually wrapping around
Like
the
Yeah,
Taurus?
it is, isn't it? It's like it's creating a shape there, isn't it?
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
I saved the best for last because this one absolutely blew my mind.
it really does look like a bunch of lights on an electrical cord.
Oh,
It
look at
does.
that.
We have Chile.
You ever see Taurus Field? Look at that.
That looks
Yeah.
like Christmas lights, man.
Yeah, it does. An upside down Christmas tree.
Well, that has to be
So-
Adam's. That's Adam's corn coming down. That's the sword of the angel.
Yeah.
Oh, vortex for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. And when we think about, different things like why do airplanes have to stay on their certain paths, or why would they want to try to find these halos, by using the barium and mapping the skies? Well, look at this. What would that do if an airplane accidentally ran into it,
Oh yeah, it'd be shut it down, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's a minimum.
Well, airplanes
Yeah,
get
look
a
at that.
aura.
I can't
when they
believe
fly.
how many lines you could see on that.
Yeah,
It's actually showing you the whole Taurus field going on, isn't it?
the entire one. That one just blew my mind completely.
There's a
So,
lot going on in there, isn't it? Look at that.
mhm.
There's more action taking place than I thought in there.
Same. I've not ever seen one this
Where's-
active.
Where's
It
this
looks
one?
pretty hot too there too. That whole lighting formation.
Yeah.
What
This
country is
one's
this one?
in Chile. It's in
Chile.
Chile in South America.
It's amazing.
That
Yeah.
must be a 5 mile high light show.
It has to be like that
The
plume is
mountain's got a
huge.
mile up.
Yeah, the mountains are pretty high in Chile anyway, and it's on the edge.
Imagine stepping outside and seeing that.
Chile's got those iron plates there too, right?
Yeah. And they have that whole edge. And yeah, actually when you go back and kind of, let's look at the different, spots. So when we see it, it's like right here where all this converges, where that one, popped out. And we also have
Hot spot, isn't it?
mhm,
Some of it
Iceland.
It's wraparound lightning,
Yeah.
trying to go back to its origin.
And Iceland is another one that's on a meeting spot, so those two are pretty interesting.
Well, one thing about that plume ash is it's probably similar in all of these volcanoes, and probably develops quite a good static charge, like capacitor material and stuff.
Yeah. Look at that. I can't believe that.
That's gorgeous. But I can't believe how small the mountains look compared to the light show. No wonder when lightning hits a mountaintop, it can kill like thousands of reindeer.
I'm not surprised. Look at that.
I wouldn't want to be near that.
Yeah, there's some places you probably should not be. Yeah, looking at
Right.
that, you want to be standing on there.
So
I'm
if we,
I was Mickey Mouse in that magic suit with a wand,
yeah. So if we have our cone coming down, and then of course there'd be one below coming up, which would
Absolutely.
be the tip of this mountain. You have to imagine that this here mountain and it would go all the way down as high as it is.
Probably
Yeah,
5
They're
miles.
going to be, yeah, they're going to be equal. So
It's gonna
then you
be-
can,
the induction zone, isn't it? You can
Yep.
see it.
yep, and you can get a good idea of
And
you
the
know,
light path
size.
might mimic something of the structure of veins or whatever below.
Yeah,
So this is the
Yeah.
angel sword or spear representation brought to life, isn't it? Look at it.
yeah, definitely.
That's the tip of the sword of the angel going into the ground.
Amazing they got that photo
This is Excalibur.
in that split second, because it doesn't last more than a second, something like this.
Yeah.
To get it with this much intensity.
Only an angel can extract the sword from the stone, people, because this is what you're looking at here. No man can take that from a stone.
Yep. And this photo right here actually won a prize on like National Geographic for whoever actually captured this.
Well done, that person. Ooh, yeah.
I looked for a video. I couldn't find an actual video, but they did capture the still shot, which was absolutely amazing enough for me.
Yeah, I've seen devices that can detect static before a lightning bolt. So maybe they use those with the camera.
You know, this is
Could
the
be.
angels manipulating the ether and generating electricity.
Yeah.
Well, it shows how much is below anyway.
Yeah.
The representation of, again,
It does.
so below,
Yep. As above, so below. Exactly right. So now we can get a good idea of how deep this angel may be, by how high up it went. It's going to be the same down below. The meeting point in the center, like FPV said, is the induction
Where all
zone.
the points up, eh?
That's where the cones are at the maximum compression. That's the fusion point. That's where creation begins in Walter Russell's work. The creation in this case is the lava. It's producing lava it's converting elements into matter, and we're calling it lava. But that's the matter it's creating.
Well, all that discharge and electrical potential has a lot to do with why there is molten magma there too, right?
Oh yeah. All part of the process, isn't it? By design. This is not something random. This is by design.
Maybe by transitioning into like a lava rock or whatever, it's changing state and it has all these extra electrons to give off,
Yeah, a cool topic one. What a picture that is.
Yep. So after that, I decided to see if there were any legends, perhaps, that go around these areas. So, so Mount Vesuvius has one. Vesuvius has a long history and literary tradition. It is considered a divinity of the Genesis type at the time of the eruption of AD 79. It appears under the inscribed name of Vesuvius as a serpent in the decorative fresco of many laria, or household shrines, that survived in Pompeii. An inscription from Kappa to, I have a video because I'm going to let you guys see it.
Yay.
So you can read along.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah, probably would be better.
Legends always worth pursuing. There's more to them than meets the eye, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. So
there's some legends turn out to be reality in our world.
There we go. So it indicates that Capua was a worshiper to the power of Jupiter. Jupiter is Vesuvius, according to them. The Romans regard Mount Vesuvius to be devoted to Hercules. Historians relate a tradition that Hercules, in the performance of his labors, passed through the country of nearby Cumae on his way to Sicily, and there he found the place called the Pelagian Plain. From a hill which anciently vomited out fire, which is now called Vesuvius. It was inhabited by bandits, which were the sons of earth, who were giants. With the assistance of gods, he pacified the region and went on. The facts behind the tradition, if any, remain unknown as to whether Herculaneum was named after it. An epigram by the poet Martial in 88 AD suggests that both Vesuvius, patroness of Pompeii, and Hercules were worshipped in the region devastated by the eruption of 79. So in etymology, Vesuvius was the name of the volcano in frequent use by the authors in the late Roman Republic and the early Roman Empire. Its collateral forms were Vesuvius, Vesuvus, Vespius, and Vesuvius. Writers in ancient Greek used this. Many scholars since then have offered an etymology, as peoples varying ethnicity and language occupied Campania in the Roman Iron Age. The etymology depends to a large degree on the presumption of what language was spoken there at the time. Naples was settled by the Greeks, as the name Neapolis, new city, testifies. The Oscans, an Italic people, lived in the countryside. The Latins also competed for the occupation of Campania. Theories about its origin are from the Greek ou, meaning not, prefixed to the root from the related Greek word, this word, meaning I quench, in the sense of unquenchable. Also, hurling violence. From Indo-European, it's shrines, the one who lightens, sorry. And from the European root, meaning hearth.
Like a fireplace, a hearth.
Yeah. Gesundheit.
Mm.
We also have some from Japan. If I can find it. Okay. So Japan, the mountain is a setting for one of Japan's most widely known myths about a deity's arrival from the heavenly world. In the story, the sun god sends her grandson, the deity Ninigi no Mikoto, to rule the island of Japan. As he descends to earth, he plunges his spear through the clouds and into the top of Mount Takachatio no Min. I'm probably destroying those words.
Carry on.
The descendants would end up becoming royalty. The deity's great-grandson, Jimmu, who was said to be Japan's first emperor. It's one of the many supernatural tales of spirits and deities that unfold on the peaks and in the forests, marshes, and lakes of Japan's 34 national parks. These chronicles belong to the tradition of seeing otherworldly connections in seemingly ordinary natural objects. The belief that kami, the deities, inhabit mountains, trees, and rocks probably came from a sense of fear and awe that the people feel here about their surroundings.
No, it came from a good education.
All right.
Didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I agree. So tall, we saw tall on there, was what the natives called Volcano Island. Sinta as Sanglangiat means as high as the sky, and queen in their primitive nature worship. Folklore about Tall tells about Lankin, an old sage who guarded the volcano and guided the townspeople in peaceful sharing of the abundant natural resources of the forests and the lakes. Everyone was happy and content, and there was no envy and deceit where there was no greed. Then Lankin decided to test the people. He was going away and leaving them to abide and honor, not to go up on the mountain beyond the forbidden area near the crater of the volcano. So Lankin left, and the townspeople followed the rules at first, but they could not help it anymore. When he was gone too long and thought he was never going to return, they went up to the crater and found glowing gemstones. I didn't add the next part of the story, but the volcano erupted and they all died.
So it was like a bad ending, that.
Yeah. It was,
You have to work on that bad ending a bit better.
so Tonga, during the Dark Ages, there was a Fijian god named Takuaka. He was one of the high gods in Fiji's, and he was the guardian of the reef. This god was brave, strong, and fearless, and jealous of all the other reef guardians. He was the best known of all the gods that guard the reefs. He was known by myth as the shark god. As a god, Takuaka could sometimes change into a shark so that he could travel from island to island. He often turned into an anga so he could travel around defeating the other reef guardians. One day he went to the Olomiaviti Island group to challenge the guardians of the reef. He beat the guardians here quite easily. Then he decided to go to Suva. When he arrived in Suva, the guardian of this reef challenged him. During the battle, the two creatures were massive and they generated very large waves. The waves caused the rivers to overflow, flooding the valleys for many miles inland. The seas also caused really rough seas, and people were scared. Takuaka won yet another battle. He continued challenging most of the other reef guardians, and he won each battle. One day, he met an old friend, Masalita, another god, and Masalita told him there is a brave guardian that guards the Kamatuvu Islands. He didn't waste any time, and he went to look for this guardian. He listened for the sounds of the reef and swam towards the sound. When he fought the entrance of the reef, he saw a big feek and octopus waiting for him. The feek had 4 tentacles that floated on the surface, while the other 4 tentacles grasped the reef. He swam straight for the feek. The 4 floating tentacles wrapped around Takiaku and squeezed his body tightly. In this moment, he could feel the feek was really strong, and he felt death upon him. For the first time, he was defeated.
Well, so far that story in the previous one was telling me it's talking about this technology and its processes going across the map.
I agree. Hold on one second. I'll be right back to finish.
Hey, you can't stop now. Interesting stuff, isn't it? More and more things tie in. So this is legends. Legends of the volcanoes, eh?
Well, it's interesting. The floods are being claimed to be caused by these creatures fighting.
Mm.
You know, if you're miles
Keep 'em
long and, you know, imagine a 1 mile long dolphin, you know, you got that dolphin island there.
Yeah, imagine, you know, that tail flicks. It's going to cause a little wave going somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah. Or they jump right out of the water and belly splash or whatever.
Very rough seas. Yeah, you know, to me, it's this technology doing what it does, and it does create the waves and cause tidal waves and all the rest of it, tsunamis. So it's kind of, it's like a creation story telling the story of one of these angels crossing the map, and now it's interacting with other angels that it defeats. So, you know, I think it's been always been portrayed as battles going across the map and things, but it's not real battles. It's that one will switch off and give it, you know, it'll guide
Well,
where it needs to be.
It looks violent in nature, but you know.
Yeah. Well, you look at nature, you got a better understanding of what it's actually talking about. You know, you watch what's going on in the sky with these angel things. It's this technology that it's trying to describe. This is how they told it. This is how they were taught it in their times. You know, this is old world teachings of this technology and how it works.
My apologies. I'm back.
It's all right. We finished it one. No, carry on. I'm not sure where you were at. We were just elaborating on some bits and how it's really telling the story, the journey of this technology going across the map.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so next we will go into the Iceland legends. Folklore is a huge part of the Icelandic culture, with many stories of trolls getting caught by the sun and then turned to stone. Hekla's nickname is called the Gateway to Hell.
Pay attention, Pauls.
It was believed that on the top of the volcano was the entrance to hell, and all over Europe, clerks and bishops said the volcanoes in Iceland, especially Hekla, were proof that Satan lived underneath of us. Hekla's name origin is that it means cloak, referring to the cloak of mist that usually hovers around the volcano's summit. So let's just take a moment to look at the word Satan and take it to a different meaning. So if we break this down like we have in the past, S would mean Stephan's constant. The total intensity radiated over all wavelengths increases as the temperature increases of a black body, which is proportional to the fourth power of the thermodynamic temperature. The theory of thermoradiation lays down the theory of quantum mechanics by using physics to relate to molecular, atomic, and subatomic levels. The equation can also be derived from Planck's law by integrating over all wavelengths at a given temperature, which will represent a small flat black body box. The amount of thermal radiation emitted increases quickly, and the principal frequency of the radiation becomes higher with increasing temperatures. So A would be acceleration. The faster the acceleration, the hotter the temperature would become. T stands for period of a waveform. A would be the area, which would be the total area that we're speaking about. And N is the number of couriers per unit volume. So basically, if we sum up this formula, we can see the acceleration causes the excitement of charged particles and raises the thermal dynamic level of the whole area, causing one of the most frequent volcanic lightning spots in the world, as well as being known as the area of the volcanoes that lead to hell. In the APM model, this is the induction and conduction from the angels, the coils below and their demiurges above. Volcanoes also would be within the eye of Horus in our model, as this is the hotspot magic zone where a luminary would be projected from, the Vesica Pisces. These could be the seraphim holy books speak of, the fiery ones.
Makes total sense, doesn't it? The more and more you break it down.
It does to me.
Yeah, good work, that one. Nice. All put together. And another legend brought to life. Well, legends is more than one. It covers them all, doesn't it?
Yeah, it covered a few. Yeah.
And while you were doing that, I've got some stuff to add to that if you want to see it.
Yep.
Right. We'll go for this one first. Can you see that?
I do see it. Yeah.
Okay. So now what we're looking at here is Tesla's vortex maths, which is where it actually relates to. The vortex maths is Tesla's way of working out what's taking place within the spiral. And Satan in our model is also the spiral we call the Milky Way. So it comes in many sizes, but relates to the spiral which Tesla vortex maths was invented to understand it. In the APM model, this is also a Milky Way, as this is a spiral. So Satan would decode as a spiral. Here it can be seen interacting with the world chakras. This is what is sacred about the spiral. So in our 144,000 video, this image here brought to life by Sandra, this is what's really taken place within the vortex. This is what Tesla's maths related to. And it's 369, I think, related to that document with the 312s at the top. You just add them up, 3, 6, and 9. If only you understand the magnificence of the 369. This is the 369. It's Tesla's way of showing the world. It relates to what's taking place within the spiral, which I'm pretty sure our ancestors knew, but we've never seen anything to prove that, but we think they must know this information also. And this is what it relates to on the full-scale model of the Milky Way. Your blue's your negative and your red's your positive, your day and your night. So this is taking place horizontally, but the angels do this vertically. So they're kind of short circuiting the ether is what they're doing, which is where the positives are coming from, up from above. This is what we would call alternating current. So this is where our scientists are discovering this knowledge from. It all relates to this. So there was that part I wanted to show you, how Satan can actually come in many forms and sizes, because, you know, it's down to the scale of the halo what creates the size of the spiral, isn't it? And if you look at the spiral, it's what we would call a DNA strand. So it all relates to everything it's supposed to relate to when you put it back into its context like this. So what one's showing you there is even legends are bringing it back to life and showing you the paths to the truth. It's showing us how this works. So there was that one I wanted to share with you, and then there's another one. Am I sharing that? No, I'm not. Hold on. Let me just switch this over so we can go a little bit deeper. Is it this one? Yeah, that's the one. Right, hopefully you can see that. Yeah. And like one mentioned, the conduction induction, and you also see what creates the spiral motion that we see taking place in the ether with electricity, or lightning as we're calling it. This is the equal and opposite reactions that would have to take place. This is the law. You know, this is what Walter Russell's work decodes. In any wave, the inductive current seeks the higher pressures at the apex of its cone. So this is where your cones are coming from. Cones of energy, and the conductive current seeks the lowest pressure at its base. So once the short circuit in the ether is causing this reaction, what you're seeing here, this is how the angels operate. And this science explains it perfectly. You couldn't find better science than Walter Russell's to explain this. It makes so much sense to us when we look at what it's doing. You know, just take a look at this animation that Sandra's brought to life. The equal and opposite reactions taking place, and that's what you're seeing above these volcanoes. And the movement, you know, the movement's important. You can see it's a spiral type motion. All motion is spiral, Walter Russell. And to add to that, all spirals are coming from the halos of angels, APM Research. So there's that there to show you, Walter Russell's the law in this wave. So stop that one and show you another one. Like we were talking when Ron was presenting and showed that amazing clip of the volcano, of the Taurus field above it, the sword of the angel, the shape it created. When you look at this video from Yasmin Senyal of on Glastonbury Tor, there it is, right there. So you get to see it in nature. You know, this, you're seeing it from a volcano taking place there. You can see the same process taking place here, but not as destructive. So this one's obviously got a different configuration and role to the one that one was showing you. Doesn't mean you won't get them kind of storms here, though. You know, I would expect to see thunder and lightning in that region where those markers are showing you where it is. And that's what the design actually represents, the Taurus field. Or the sword in the stone. Doesn't it bring legends to life? Excalibur. So there's the sword of the angel. That's why they carry a sword in these depictions, or a spear. It's, you know, it's for short circuit in the ether. And
well, he plunged it into a bog and it petrified.
yeah, it would, wouldn't it? You know, that's a huge electrical charge coming down at you. It would petrify anything anywhere near it, wouldn't it? That's probably, you know, when you think about it, Jim, this is probably what petrified the giants and titans.
Could very well be.
Something killed them on a grand scale, and it was so quick they didn't have time to react. You can see it in the expressions.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you've shown your videos, you can see it was something
Different materials
sudden.
petrified different giants at different times.
Yeah, well, you know, if they've wandered into our realm during a reset and this starts back up, then that's exactly what's going to take place. They're so big, this is going to start shorting out and arcing out on them. It's going to petrify them. Anything that large in this world would get destroyed pretty quick by this technology. So, you know, you could think of it as it's a safe place to live, because we have no idea what's going on the outside of here. But if there's giants and titans running around out there, then it's not a place for us, is it?
No.
So this place has maybe been designed to protect us.
Well, and it would take, I mean, and Jimbo, you'd probably know, but a mile high. So if one of these titans was a mile high, it would walk face first into one of these halos. Some of these
Oh, yeah.
anomalies are a mile high. Some of them are, 4 miles high. Some of them are higher.
I tell you
and
what you
so
can check for, is check the top of the head for any electrical burn marks or scorch marks like you see on the moon's image, that white, what we call it, the crater. Tycho, is it? Crater Tycho. It should, they might have a mark on the top of the heads where something's arced out on them.
that's a good idea. Never thought about looking for stuff
Yeah,
like that.
if you come across a Titan and you can see the top or the back of its head, definitely check out for electrical arcing, because something turned these beings to stone, and it seems to be a rapid process.
The West Coast giant, its eye, I thought it was bashed in, but it might have ran into something too.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. So now it's something to go back and look through on all the stuff you have put out, Jimbo, if they have marks like that.
Yeah, because something's petrified them very quickly, which to me it would have to be lightning or something, like one of these switching on, and what's that? Hook, bang, dead, petrified. Yeah, it does. The images I've seen you show on these titans and giants, you can see on the faces they didn't see it coming, or they got a glimpse of something before they were petrified.
Very few, though, were conscious of. Some thought it was something good, something eclectic to them,
Yeah,
they
they may be
smiling and welcomed it, for heaven's sake,
They may be seeing a build up to it and thought, oh, that's nice, and boom.
It looked joyous, They thought it was some type of cosmology going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, who knows?
But it's a good thing to consider, knowing how this world works, and there's a cause for that type of event where it would kill such scale beings.
Yeah. So, I think there were different ways that these petrifications occurred. Some were electrical above the water and stuff. Other smaller ones were immersed in water and or mud and water, and came 100-year egg or something.
Yeah.
Because we have bad water, and when you drink bad water, you petrify. So.
And during a reset, I'm sure, I reckon most water is going to be bad to drink, isn't it?
Yeah, what do they call it? Not milkweed, or some kind of weed water from the biblical days. Milk water, silk water, but it's the water's poisoned. Milkwood or something.
Hey, before we go off topic, what the one was shown as well is, I forgot there's another clip I wanted to show you, so I'll just get that out the way right now. Yeah, this one, because it deals with the creation process. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of Walter Russell's books, and Sandra brought to life and her husband with the animations. And chapter 1, creation, divine mind, God and spirit, creation and the order of creation. Now, remember, we're talking the vortex, the spiral, what the pressure, electromagnetic pressure is from halos. So this is basically what this is depicting in this animation. I'm glad that they animated it, Sandra and Sean. Yes. Because this is what's taking place within a spiral. The flow going around the halo. This is what's now creating this electromagnetic field. This is a top-down view, say, of what's taking place below that field. And you can see now how it starts creating the electric parts of the domination and the magnetic parts of the domination. This is your Adam and Eve working, your hots and colds, your hardness and softness. It's all down to the spiral and the octave of each spiral. So as the halos are spiraling upwards, at each octave, there is changes in the atmosphere, that these are interacting with the atmosphere and creating changes, and these elements are being produced. They're producing elements, matter from the elements and things in the atmosphere. This is what's really taking place. So, everything, our oxygen, everything is created within this atmosphere by this technology. So electromagnetic spirals is what's creating what we're calling matter, pretty much. Everything on that table of elements of Walter's, it's this technology that's creating it. And if you know how to create it, Walter did mention this. If
anyone understanding this knowledge would basically rule the world. And that's what's taking place right now, because people do understand this knowledge and they're stealing it. That's where we're at in our history and our time right now, people. And it's all down to how this works. And this is the creator's glory. This is what's been hidden. All this science that our scientists are trying to teach you is coming from this knowledge, from this construct. They've all been decoding it, but not one of them's ever told you the cause. They can't tell you the cause. But we can. We know the cause, and we can explain, we can explain the cause of this technology is what you're seeing on the screen right now. These are the effects of that technology.
I have a question. So going back to petrification and water. So, that lake that's way too alkaline and it instantly petrifies?
Lake Natron.
Yeah, that one. So is that possible if, say, some kind of an electrical current, is it possible to change the water instantaneously to an alkaline state because of an event, perhaps? And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
could have led to why the things petrified in the water so quickly?
Yeah, it has a lot of caustic alkali in it there. Different forms of calcium and sodium.
Right. So if something happened, an event perhaps worldwide, and that could cause all the water possibly to turn into such an alkaline state for a time being.
Yeah, if there were like mega trees that fell and stuff, they could contaminate all the water, definitely.
So that was just a thought.
Well, that's a good question, that one, because it will affect water. It's
Like-
forever manipulating the ether. It can be a positive, a neutral, or a negative. We've noticed, can't it? So they're what it can do to water that we know of.
Down south, it's all black water because you got oak leaves that fall in, and it's full of iron and the acid in the oak leaves. They make rust and ink, and it turns the water cloaky black. And that's pretty well everywhere downstream. Everywhere these leaves soak in the water.
Yeah. So anyway, that was just a thought, like why things would have petrified so quickly being in the water, down lower towards
Yeah, I
surface.
think they had different frequencies applied to them, and it sped up the process and stuff. I have no doubt of that. Like
Yeah,
making
it probably
Oh.
makes a difference what's the elements that's actually in the water as well, doesn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, because
Whether
it's
it be quick or slow.
because you got petrified with copper, some of them, and petrified with iron. Some are like concrete aggregate, and they're petrified too, but they're not all calcium carbonate or obsidian eyes. Like the Olmec, all their eyes are obsidian. Don't make sense. Where would you get all that obsidian to bring to an island to put in the eyes of these statues? That don't make sense.
right. Exactly. It doesn't make sense.
They got the same obsidian and underwater with these Olmec too. Because again, a lot of our world has been submerged.
Yeah.
Water now. And apparently it's going to stay that way because we can't really drain the oceans.
No, but somehow it seems to somewhat be receding in different areas, say, such as the Zealandia area, where the land seems to be coming more to surface. So you can go ahead. I was done. I was just saying, like, some of the land seems to be coming more towards surface, or the water receding away from it.
Well, they say that about where Vesuvius is. It goes up and down. There's water like, I don't know, well above the buildings that are above ground now. And it's because apparently that area of land is in a cauldron, one of these volcanic calderas. and it can rise and sink 40, 50, 100 feet. They don't really know how much it can actually rise and fall. But
Right.
it's been underwater before.
But like America, I think America at one time was mostly submerged, other than maybe the high peaks,
Yeah.
even possibly Canada, and that's why we were called the New World. I still think that you could get from South America to North America, and that's how the Indians.
Well, there's these old maps of Boston with the totally encircled by water.
Right, exactly.
Oh,
Like,
and a lot of these cities everywhere are almost like port cities. They got canals all around them and waterways, and they're literally like islands. And
yep, or like the runoff that seems to be down in the southwest of America that you can clearly see through the Nevada area and the topography. It looks like water ran off of that area, or Louisiana that's still below sea level, and the only reason it's not still underwater is they built the levee down there. That's the only reason it's not underwater, is they hold the water back. Or the boats that they find in the mountains down in the southwest. They find ships that are up in the mountains. Like how does that happen? Or in the middle of the desert, they find a ship. Explain it.
Yeah, but it's tidal waves and tsunamis during the resets that's chucking everything around, isn't it? You look at Roger's work. You can see there's been a flood in Africa where that dragon is, and you can see all the runoff going into the sea from it. So it shows you how high up the landmass, these floods can happen.
Yeah. Or America, like where down there again in Louisiana, and that goes into the Mississippi River. And there's lots of maps that show this flooding in America being split in half. Did that happen before? And it's going to happen again. There's lots of questions.
Another thing on tides, people, what I've noticed with tides, the water's not actually going out, it's being pushed down and displaced. That water still exists under the sand. If you have a look, just dig some sand away from the beach, away from the water's edge, and you'll find water pours into that hole. It's still there, it's just being compressed down.
Yeah.
And then it slowly comes back in, and that's what we call tides. So I've observed that myself, and I've been watching it, and it makes sense. It's the electrical pressure from these halos that's pushing the water down, which is what we're calling tides going out. And the reverse is it, so the water's just reacting really to the electrical pressure from halos above them. That's what tides really are. And that electrical pressure can be proven. This is where the waves are coming from. It's them that's creating the waves on the water.
Yeah, you can.
That's when you think of a wave. One wave, is one rotation of the halo. That's one wave. So two rotations would create two waves. So now you can see why there's always waves. And same with wind. You can feel the wind slapping you in the face every rotation. Amazing, isn't it? Who's that?
A guest of the institution. It's Happy Gilmore. Actually, as part of what they call harm reduction here, they allow people to drink and use drugs and others.
That's actually promoted then.
Yeah. Bring your own dope.
Wow. Party time, eh?
They got 5-gallon bottles.
And that's a hospital.
Well, it's long-term care place, basically, yeah.
Come and get drunk and stone people. What kind of a place is that?
Say hi. Well, you can buy magic mushroom now, just 2 blocks from here.
Oh, you can up there now? Because that's supposed to be.
Jimbo's never going to leave, is he? He's going to be there for the rest of his life.
I mean, here in the States, they're discussing putting magic mushrooms to help medicinally wise for people that have, mental illness or
Older people,
anxiety.
they use it at Arizona, in the old folks' homes in Arizona. It's very common and very popular there.
Yeah.
Yeah, weirdly, I was talking to my sister about this today. How funny. Because my parents have both been diagnosed with Alzheimer's or dementia, especially my dad, and we won't talk about what I think the reasons are behind
Well,
it.
this stuff can take away some Parkinson's symptoms and
Yeah, but I wouldn't recommend it for my dad. He's very, very depressed. And I said, if he was in a better frame of mind, I said I'd give him some magic mushrooms.
give him a joint.
You can't give it to him. You can't give it to dementia patients, I don't think. But I think if somebody's in sound mind, especially when they're approaching the end of life as well, they're giving them psilocybin, and it's sort of helping them to sort of come to terms with things,
All these, I mentioned it to Jack, but I'll mention it here so people in the chat can hear it. These symptoms that they're labeling as like dementia and and all these other names that's got problems. This can be reversed if you search for a video on YouTube called reverse stroke in 60 minutes. Search for that video, people, and there's an injection that they put in the base of your neck. And where they're injecting, there is one of your veins there is like a venturi. It narrows. So your veins are like venturis, they narrow, just like Walter Russell's motor. And where it narrows is where heavy metals are causing blockages. And these blockages are causing a lot of these effects that they call in dementia and other things.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, when they inject this injection into that part of the neck, it clears it all away. And the person is back to normal within 5 minutes. So it can be reversed. All these problems and, even autism, things like that, it's all heavy metal blockages in our venturis.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the same with the Western diet that's killing people. It's their oils are blocking your venturis. You got to be careful eating oils. In fact,
unfortunately, I've got very little say in what happens. It's.
But, I thought I'd bring that up because it is reversible and it's banned in our country, but you can go to Australia and get this injection and walk away.
We have a question. FPB Angel, do you reject the idea that there are beings underground controlling this technology? There are so many ancient stories that speak to a world under us, which includes sun, eater, and plants.
We have discussed this in older research, and with a living being comes a lifespan. So, and they have to be breeding and have offspring to carry on their rules. So, no, to us it seems more automated. So I don't think there's living beings as such down there. There may be technologies down there that's doing certain type rules, but we don't think living beings are down there because it would introduce a lifespan and you would need offspring to replace that lifespan. So, but hey, who knows? Exploration, you can't write anything off in this game, can you? So I'll put that on the APM shelf, and maybe one day we'll get to prove that or not. So, we don't write anything off just quickly like that. We put it on the shelf and say, there's that to consider. We can't find an endpoint to prove that, so it sits on the shelf until we can. That's the only way we can do it, otherwise you got to do it correct. This has to be done correct.
And
you can't just throw it out there and say, yes, this is true without, having the proofs that you need to prove such things.
And back to the prior topic, Rourke66 says, give him DMT.
Yeah.
Hey, when you get that old, things like that is probably a godsend when you think about it. Maybe maybe losing your mind when you get old isn't such a bad thing, is it? Or certainly, when you've had enough of this world, right? I want to lose my mind to forget it and move on.
Well,
maybe that's a good thing. But not if man's causing it. It's not.
If you were close to your end and you had the chance to eat psilocybin mushrooms, maybe it could possibly help you find a new, recent spiritual awakening to become one with your creator. So when you pass over, it's fresh. Those things are, they're said to bring spiritual awakenings and such.
Well, you'll have a good laugh at a minimum, won't you?
Well, some people laugh, some people find God.
Yeah.
I guess it
Yeah.
just depends on your mindset when you eat it,
Yeah, and the company you keep as well. So yeah,
Right.
if you're gonna do something like that, you have to be in the right company, don't you? Where you're focusing on what you want to focus on, really. That'd be distracted or taking down silly routes.
Yeah, so Rourke said DMT helps older people deal with death easier. I could see that. I mean, I've never done DMT, but I've heard a lot of people's stories that have, and
Yeah, same.
people say that that's as close to
Well,
dying as you can get without dying.
I'll tell you something I've learned from my research. Our research in this group, there is a beyond. It's pretty
Yeah.
obvious there's a beyond, and these people are trying to hide it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't end here. Even Walter Russell tells you this.
Yeah, they created a death cult here where everybody's terrified of dying.
Well,
That's what they've done, and
there,
whereas in the
there
ancient
are
times,
places both
in
above
ancient
and
times,
below for the souls. I mean, some go up, some go down, but down isn't necessarily a bad place either. You just have work.
well, the way I look at it now, people, is this: we're here to populate this world and add to its mass. This world's a creating world. We're adding mass to this world as the angels do it 24/7. They're adding mass to this world, converting elements into matter. And we're pretty much doing the same. We're here adding mass to this world. Now, when we depart this world, you've got positives and negatives taking place. The same as everything else in this world has got positive and negatives. Things will go up and some will go down. The body stays here. What leaves to goes up is what we probably would call our spirit, would it not? There has to be, there's two parts to it, an equal and opposite. You got your physical body. Well, what's controlling this body? What are we? There has to be a positive that rises. That's where that saying comes from. You go up to heaven. Well, yeah, your consciousness probably does. What happens then? It gets divided and multiplied by Adam. So it's re-put back into the world, isn't it? Eve divides, Adam multiplies. So Eve's dividing the left behind matter. Well, Adam's multiplied the leaving matter that's rising into the sky, isn't it? This is how this technology works. It's still creating.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Have I explained that? Maybe not. But that's what it looks like to me. Part of us stays behind to add to the mass. The other part goes on to do something else, somewhere else, or maybe we are reborn again and we do the whole thing again. I don't know. Who can answer the questions of what happens afterwards? I don't think anyone can. But it would make sense to me, understanding how this technology works. There's two parts of this process. There's always a duality in nature. This is nature's duality. We live in it.
We become when we die what we were before we were born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Light entity. We have to be something like what you would call a light entity with
We
intelligence.
give off light. We definitely give off light.
Yeah. Everything is light. Walter Russell. He just kept saying it.
Yeah. Back to our pure form of energy. Yeah.
Maybe this is where people have these memories from the past from, because they are born again and they're still carrying some of these memories.
Yeah.
Well, that's where we get some of our fears. Like I have a fear of heights, probably because I fell to my death before in a previous life.
Yeah, very possible, isn't it?
Or
It's come from.
Yeah, I've got quite a bad fear of water.
My oldest daughter does too, and it's kind of weird because that movie Titanic that came out. So she was like 3 years old and she sat through that entire movie at 3 years old, which is unheard of for a 3-year-old. And from her birth till present day, and she's 27, if she gets in water and it goes just to her chest, she will completely freak out and have a panic attack. It just always made me think.
I couldn't learn to swim as a child, but I did learn to swim in the sea. Then we moved to the sea, but I couldn't go in water.
Yeah, she can't either. And it always made me wonder the way she was so fascinated with that movie, if possibly she didn't die on the Titanic at some point in a
Well,
past life.
I hate movies where people are on ledges, on high buildings and stuff, I don't like.
Yeah.
That's what movies are good at, isn't it? Capturing your fears.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I look at think of the
Yeah, all our old
afterlife
ancestral
now,
wounds.
there's nothing to fear in this world, or leaving this world.
Well, and
this is something we do.
also handed down through your DNA, some of it. Like it
Yeah.
might be something handed down from your ancestors that's still in your DNA that would cause you to react to certain things the way you react. Like,
DNA
you know,
memory.
yeah.
Like allergy to some chemicals and stuff like that, genetic.
Well,
I'm
so
sure.
water's got memory, don't they? So, why would a human body be different? It's got liquids in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just makes more and more sense the more you discuss this, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I'm going to have to log out, folks. I'm getting a bit
Yeah,
knackered.
so we Jacks. Hey,
Have a
you've
good evening.
really
Yeah.
been streaming for 3
See
hours.
you all again soon. Night-night.
Bye,
Good
Jack.
night. Yeah, we've been going for over 3 hours. Yeah.
Long one. Do you want to call it a day or carry on for a bit longer? What do you guys in the chat reckon we should be doing?
Well, my dinner is about ready.
Ooh, there you go then.
So,
It's like some food. Yeah, but hang back in there till I stop the stream then, and we'll have a quick chat before you go. But yeah, thanks everyone. We're going to call it a day for now and present some more things to you next week. Hopefully, I can present some things tonight because my computer's still doing it, still compiling it, so it's not ready. So thanks everyone for coming, and look forward to the next one with you. I'll just go and shut the stream now, guys. Back in a minute.
There we go.
yep. I shut mine down.